Good evening. Welcome to 2022 Energy Activations.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
to have you all on the call and everyone that's going to be joining us afterwards. Wow, what a 2021, hey? Yeah.
On the back of 2020.
Yeah, what a year.
Yeah. Some would call it a cluster.
And others will call it the beginning of the Great Awakening. So it depends really on what side of the mirror and glass you're looking at. So it's, all part of the divine plan for the awakening for humanity as we move into the fifth and sixth dimension. So 2022 has a real feeling, and we'll be covering off these aspects of 2022 and what we've got coming up for us. It's going to be more work and journeying within in a soul level and why we're here and giving back to humanity too in a lot of these free world service events that we run. So please do come and join us for that. You'll really be aligning with the energies of 2022.
We must put that up.
We'll be seeing a lot of these systems and some of the old matrices too falling down, these broken systems that we're all aware of. And as the star seeds and the collective of the light workers and bearers, we'll be instrumental in affecting that change too and directing energy that way to just help speed it up. So I'm excited about it.
I just want to say hello, Sharon.
Hello, everyone. How are we?
We've hauled Sharon into the hot seat because she's constantly on the hot seat, whether she's
on
here
a
or
lasso,
there.
but you just can't see it underneath the screen.
Yeah, so but it's been lovely actually working in a triad, because often when Robert's channeling, there's so much strength in three. And we really resonate with each other and support each other and learn from each other and grow. And Sharon's just gone from, I don't know, the tail of the arrowhead to the straight up the front with us.
Yeah. And just even learning more even over this holiday break about myself has been quite instrumental to me as well.
Me too. Yeah.
I think that's been a big
perfect alignment, isn't it?
Yeah.
We just uncover more of those facets of who we are and why we're here and what we can do to help at this time. And all part of that soul remembrance that we'll be covering off tonight.
Because I think we were talking about it earlier, was it last night, that we identify so strongly with Anita 51. What am I? Is that right? I don't know. It could be 52. I don't know. I'll be 52 this year.
Cool.
It's all right. But it's time to let go of that identifying. And it's quite a tricky thing, because so much of our conditioning and programming and identity, but really, what do you identify with now? Are you still identifying with old wounds and traumas in the past, or are you identifying with the chaos that's been caused into our lives? Or, this is why 2022 is so powerful, because you're going to be identifying with yourself as a soul. And that's bringing into play, I've been around for anywhere from 1.5 to 2 million, well, kind of put into human years terms. And I've lived in many galaxies. I've had lives between lives in the angelic realm, for instance, or an ascended master like Robert. And I've had many, many human lives. And so, with all these soul remembrance, it's coming from your cells and your bones. And so that's why last year was so instrumental in all the clearings that we did. And I'm sure we'll revisit those as we are guided. Because, it's been a big year last year of detoxing.
Oh, it has, yeah. And I think moving forward, it is about going within, and really finding who you are as a starseed, as a light worker.
Well, do you want to just share? Sorry.
That's very pertinent, because I had a galactic Akashic record for a client earlier, and it was fascinating. Like, she had thousands of lives and only 2 on planet Earth. So it was really interesting, that mix of the questions of why am I here, don't want to be here, not feeling like I should be here in this physical body. So it was quite instrumental then for her to acknowledge, wow, I've had these thousands of lifetimes not on planet, so I can see why I'm feeling like I'm feeling now. But then also giving some direction and purpose as to why she was here in this lifetime and her role in the Great Awakening, because we come forwards with the knowledge but we get that blue screen of death that just wipes everything, and we have to try and start to remember or build the connections for people like us to just help guide you on your path. And it's like, oh, this is why you're here, you know, in helping humanity and building this road here, and this is what you need to do to anchor the energies. And you know, so it gives a lot of clarity, and that's a big part for this year, is, you know, really connecting in with your soul and who you are, and taking the time to meditate too in your daily practices. And that was something that came forward from my guides while we were away, to have that 15 or 20 minutes in the morning when I've woken in the morning and stay in bed, to actually go, okay, well, what's my purpose today? And what do I need to be doing for me? And what do I need to be doing? And who do I need to be for humanity today? So what's coming up, to take that time. Otherwise, you know, for me, I've been playing catch up with a lot of this in, oh, okay, right, we need to be doing this amount of work. So,
and you probably are identifying with how can I serve rather than right.
Absolutely. Yes. It's, you know, it's 100% spiritual growth, 100% service for humanity. It's those aspects of why we're here, and then we have to fit into that. Oh, yes, I have to see some clients to pay some bills, and oh, I'd like some beautiful time with my wife, and oh, spend some time with the kids too. We have to make time for all of that. So I know for us, it's having to come in and plan our diary for the year on, you know, what's coming up. And, you know, with these activations for 2022, we've got 16 this year, you know, 16 activations. Wow. So it's it's more than we had last time. And they're going to be very powerful, you know, activations for us as a soul individually, but then the work that we're doing for humanity to really move out of that third dimension, you know, and here you come, you know, and close that door behind the third dimension for humanity. So there was a little bit of work going on, goosebumpy talking about it, of the work that I did when I was in Phoenix, Arizona with 700 other alchemists in 2012, when we closed the third dimension for all of the children born after that date on 21/12/2012. And there's going to be an aspect, I'm being told now, that we'll be doing that in 2022. So we'll be doing some we'll be doing some really cool work. Didn't know that until then. But that's how it really unfolds. So, you know, we have to work together, and with you on the call too, to bring the energy and the frequency and everything, that we have enough star seeds there as a collective. And that came through actually in December, didn't it? Where we create, is it a quorum? Where we have star seeds, you know, Pleiades, Arcturian, Orion, and the other star seeds, where we're all in agreement, and it's going, oh, okay, we all agree we're going to be doing this work as we're directed. Yes, we do. Then that's what we do. So, you know, please do, if you're drawn to it, you know, join us on this journey throughout the year. It's going to be spectacular. You know, it's really going to be really quite beautiful. Not quite as gritty as 2021. The energies are going to be more refined, which is beautiful. A lot of time for some self-reflection. And we're really going to be playing with the Kundalini energies, our own Kundalini energies. And there's, you know, many people have heard about Kundalini energy. And, you know, in my yoga practices, it's held in very high regard because it can be extremely explosive when you start working with it. And in the preempt for the work that we're doing on the year, my guides were saying that, you know, we'd be connecting in through all of the chakras into the spine, making sure then that any of these distortions in the spine are removed.
And talked about vectors.
And the vectors, which are these like little
ears were like,
these little joining points between the chakras and the Kundalini channels in the spine and through the psychic channels.
So that's where my orgasm went. My vectors are blocked.
That's right. And there will,
sorry, inappropriate.
And there will be some homework and some practicing too, with running your Kundalini channels, you know, with your partners, husbands and wives and things like this too, or for yourself, because you know, Kundalini has been misused over the ages, and the gods, when they came down to earth to help guide us, got into fornication with the human seeds. And it was that started to trap them, which is why Sharon built that bridge last year back into the 9th dimension through Orion's portal for us, you know, to start to access these higher realms. So, you know, the Kundalini energy, very, very powerful. We've worked with it To some degree with Tantra, and we'll be moving into some of those aspects through these activations as we move forwards, because it's the most potent energy we have available to us, where we can really start directing that for our own evolution and the work that we'll be doing too with humanity. So really, really beautiful.
Yes, because we had a lovely time when we were driving. We were listening to, and I highly recommend that you listen to it. Firstly, The Bringers of the Dawn, and that's available on the audio. What's it called? Audible. It's great to listen to.
I'll write a little note down in the
Yeah.
chat as Anita said.
And then we listened to the Pleiadian Code with Barbara Clow. And look, both were absolutely remarkable to listen to, and just to be knowing that these channelings were done for 2012, thinking that was going to be the year 2021, and it's so relevant to us right now. Yeah, absolutely. So look those up, and well worth just listening to on Audible, whether you need to get the book or not. I think I nearly wrote everything she spoke, though. That's all got the book.
Well, it's a great opportunity when you're driving to not get caught up in all the crap that's on the normal radio when you're driving around. It's like, and all the adverts and everything else, where, you know, you can be listening and tuning into something really highly productive for your own evolution. And
I tend to do that too. I choose something when I'm driving and just have a listen, and
so many great things on YouTube and podcasts.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah, so those two, highly recommend it. Yeah, the Pleiadian Code and the Bringers of the Dawn. Amazing. And you know, these were both recorded and written in the 90s for 2012, but we know 2012 was actually 2021 when all the work's happening. So wow, their teachings and everything is right for now.
All for starseeds.
Yep, right for now.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. You're going to bring up some slides, and we'll just trot through those quickly, and then we'll get underway.
Sure.
So a bit of a running order. We did a little. Robert did a slide display, so we'll just bring that up for you. And when we send you an email with the recording link tomorrow, we'll certainly send you this.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to have a little look at everyone's energy and see where everyone's tracking, and talk about some of the self-mastery top 10 tips. And then I'll be jumping into a guided meditation with some grounding and just upgrading Homo Luminous, making sure you're all in that template. And then Robert will be channeling the soul remembrance. And you never know, Sharon gets put on the spot. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah, and 2022 is all about stepping up. It's the time to do that now. You know, so many people are asking us. We have 4, 5, 6 people a day. What can I do? What can I do? You know, so start to share, you know, the work that we're doing. If, you know, you're going to come and join us on the monthly activations and the World Service events, which are free, because it's the time now for us to be doing that. It really, really is.
And just by showing up to these events and coming to every event, you are stepping up.
Yeah, you are, absolutely.
Oh, and I forgot the other exciting thing we're going to do tonight is Sharon and I are going to ask questions when Rob's channeling, to ask about this uncharted territory and this mission that we have as starseeds, just how we're going, what do we need to know right now? So I thought that would be cool. Yeah,
sounds good. We'd have a quick recap on what we looked at in 2021. Won't spend too much time here. We were activating the 15 strands of DNA into our galactic form. A lot of the physical detoxification we did on the body, linking in with that fountain of youth, building the 9th dimensional bridge. The etheric Gympie pyramid was amazing on the start of the activation of all of the pyramids around the Ring of Fire, around the Earth. And Kevin's been doing as keeper of the Atlantean light codes, very diligent work there in keeping those all clear. Homo Luminous, wow. Homo sapien to Homo Luminous, we saw that frequency of humanity moved from about 0 to 400,000.
Oh, and then David, who was on the call, was the first client that went into the billion. And then as soon as David punched his head through, everybody started to then follow suit. It was amazing.
Going all goosebumpy as you share that, because that's really why we're here as starseeds. You know, we are birthing through each of those activations for us in our own individual life to make it easier for everyone else to come through. That's part of the reason why we're here, and sometimes why we've asked for this life to be quite hard, for us to find our path on where we're going.
Be resilient. So if anyone who's new to tonight, we will in the follow-up email offer the package from last year, which was the 6 months of activations, and highly recommend that you do get them and start going through them. Just we're coming into even more light and more energy this year, as you've been saying, is going to be phenomenal. So you really want to be up to speed in order for your body vessel to hold the light. And, your cells are full of these light filaments. And with all this Kundalini activation, the light filaments need to be able to be there to come to life in order for you to access your cell memories, and your body's like a library. So this is all going to help to access these memories from your bones and your cells. But you do need to go through the process that we presented last year if you haven't done that. You will have a semblance of it, but it's so much more powerful when you do it consciously. Yeah.
And I think the first part of this year, moving forward from now into, with 2022, it is bringing yourself into that alignment, making sure that you're doing your practices, keeping on track of where you're at, all of that sort of stuff, because moving forward, middle of the year, it's all going to start to ramp up, and the energies coming through are big.
Well, if you think we've climbed from, when we went into the hundreds, thousands, we were like, wow, hundreds of thousands, this is new. Love and Above was 700. Now clients are popping through the billion mark. And, we're going up into the 100 billion mark. So, again, we keep opening up that arrowhead, making that way for everybody to ascend through. And I can't wait till we ask questions like, what average frequency do the starseeds need on the planet? What's going on with the average frequency of humanity? So, I must add that to my...
Yeah, really exciting times, uncharted times in the evolution of the planet. Yeah, really incredible. Right, let's have a little look. So where are we headed in 2022? All about this personal transformation, and adjusting to the energies in 2022, a bit like we were sharing in coming back from the wilderness into, kind of normal life with people around us and shops and things like that. So there's a big aspect there on aligning your energy and your frequencies to the energies in 2022. And we've got some very powerful, significant dates when we're running these activations, 2/2, 22/2, 3/3/4/4, all the way through to the end of the year. 2022 signifies the reminder of why we are here at this time with those soul memories. And we're going to be kicking off a little bit of that tonight with really accessing that at a deeper level for those soul memories. And then if people are interested in doing the Galactic Akashic Records, then, we can have one-on-one sessions and really help point you in that direction of, okay, this is why I'm here this lifetime. That emphasis placed on your soul purpose and your spiritual mission this year, really tapping into that. So it's going to take some of that being masterful in giving yourself 10 or 15 minutes a day to meditate, whether you're on the beach or walking the dog, driving in the car.
I was going to say soul missions are really important. Many people have taken up the soul mission of the protests. And that in itself is a soul mission. So don't overthink it or complicate it. It can be, I'm just cleaning and green with my shopping and my recycling, perhaps donating to clean up the oceans. These are all spiritual missions.
Yeah, the key is that with some of the protests, it's not to get caught on the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole and what's going on, because we're seeing that on some of the spiritual groups that we're members of, that they're going too much and focusing too much time on what they're doing over here, and not actually, this is the new earth paradigm and this is what we want to be creating. So we're really going to be painting that picture of what it's like and where we're going in 2022. And that was the same for the lady that, part of her mission here for her soul purpose is creating that. What does that look like for us? Where are we going to make sure that that is actually built for us? So we'll be putting some clarity too in these activations on what that actually looks like and feels like for us.
It's amazing how like 99.9% of our clients are starseeds, and then the people that come out of the woodworks are the clients that are stepping up into their gifts. And it's amazing, like you're absolute flag flyer in that regard. It's yeah, it just blows my mind that so many of you don't underestimate how you'll be stepping up and stepping forward in time, in your time, divine time.
Yeah, and you are by showing up and doing this work. So you're in definite alignment with that, and it has a massive increase on your frequency and where you're going by that service to others. Yeah, it really does.
Because, you know, like Sharon, you would never have known that you were a keeper of the stellar gateways.
No.
And that you would be opening up gateways to heaven and bringing in an interdimensional portal on Castle Hill to activate the pyramids on the earth, you know, just so don't underestimate any hunches that you're getting, any weird dreams that you're having repetitively. You keep a dream diary, keep putting down your notes. You can always run them past Robert and I, because it might be a very important piece of the puzzle. Like that client this morning stepping up for a Galactic Akashic record reading, suddenly she's stepping into, wow, this is what my mission is. And just so happens Robert's right there to support and guide. So, you know, in no time at all, she'll be stepping in.
Should be away, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's also here the cosmic call to focus on your soul gifts and services. Responsibility we had on that slide too, to give back to humanity as we transition into deeper aspects of the fifth and the sixth dimension. Access and implementation too of a new interdimensional human operating system. So we were doing a lot of work before on bringing through Metatron's cube, through the sacred heart space, flooding our body with that, through all of the systems and glands. And there's going to be a refinement into that too, to allow more light into our bodies. And we'll also be activating your Kundalini channels to 100%, being guided by the galactic beings of light. And kind of everything in between too, because as you know with us, it really unfolds in the present moment. And I didn't realize that we would be shutting the door on the third dimension either, so that's going to be quite interesting.
Tonight?
No.
Oh
no, not tonight. Not tonight.
Right.
I would be told off if we had a quorum to say let's do that. No. Towards mid-year, mid to late year. Yep. So that'll be exciting. Wow. If it's anything like when I was in Phoenix, Arizona with the other alchemists when we were doing that work, it's like, oh, wow, incredible. Yeah. And a privilege, like, you know, you will go down in history. You know, they talk about us in the spiritual and the galactic realms with the work that we do, you know, on these activations. It's profoundly powerful when we come together as a force of one to direct humanity into where we're going. It's part of why we're here and the work that we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, on 8/8, Sharon just got, yeah. 8/8 on
Good date.
That's, what's that, Lionsgate, isn't it? Yeah, on Lionsgate. Beautiful. Wow.
That's the Galactic New Year.
There you go.
Oh, so that's our new year.
That's our New Year, everybody.
So that would be Happy Galactic New Year.
New Year. I love that.
People do look at me a bit funny when I say Happy Third Dimensional New Year.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Third Dimensional,
Like
it's like, what are you talking about?
Right, where are we going?
Okay.
How's our time? Because we don't necessarily have to go through all that, because we're going to give that to everybody, aren't we?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some of these cosmic influences?
Oh, well, you know, I love.
Just bring that up. Oh, slide. Right place. What's going on? There. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. I listen to Pam Gregory. I hear many people listen to Pam Gregory. She's fantastic.
She's great, isn't she?
I
love her accent for some reason.
Oh, she talks like the best English accent you've ever heard. Yes, but she's beautiful to listen to. Yeah, listen to Pam Gregory. She really brings what's coming forward cosmically in astrological terms. And what I love about astrology and numerology, that's set in cement. If the planets are saying this is going to happen, this is going to happen, like we've just seen in the last 2 years. And she really does. She helps you to understand what's coming up for 2022. So do listen to Pam Gregory. It's actually very reassuring. Even when everything's chaotic, it's actually very reassuring Yeah, so I do think it's good to listen to. And she'll bring you into the know on the planetary, because, you know, I'd love to know more about astrology if I had time, but Pam definitely just tells you everything you need to know.
And the thing is, it's been relied on them on the other side of the fence. It's how they plan and do everything that they do on these dates. It's just that it's been told to be hocus pocus to everyone else, but amazingly powerful when you align to the astrological activations.
And with massive shifts of change, you know, the energy coming through, we need to be even more grounded than we've thought about before. And I'm sure that the grounding will become more guided as far as what else to do, because when you think about us, we're a very shallow tree compared to how high we're going. So therefore, the higher we go, the more grounding that we will need. So kind of watch this space for grounding as we go through this year. And I'm going to add in a few elements to the grounding that we're doing today. And I'm sure that we'll play with the morphogenetic field for more grounding into the universal mother and universal father. But we'll just shore up our grounding today, just to really help us get out of our heads. It's just a constant.
Well, it's so imperative. I can only remember, I think, 2 clients that I saw out of all of the clients, seeing about 30 plus clients a week last year, that were actually grounded. Everyone I saw,
I have to repeat.
All the rest were running in fright, flight, and freeze, and you can't heal yourself. You can't operate in that system.
No,
you're running in the sympathetic dominance rather than parasympathetic of rest, recovery, and rejuvenation, and being grounded.
I might just describe something very quickly, which I do say to my clients. So, if this is your body, this is your light body, and so your physical body doesn't have chakras. You're relying on your spirit body to stay aligned in order to run that energy through your physical body. So what happens when you get ungrounded? There goes your spirit body into fear. Now, what can happen if you hold on to that fear? Then suddenly I'm also in doubt over this side. So now I'm actually split in half and fragmented. Now I'm only showing you an example in one chakra. And when I read clients who are really in emotional chaos and haven't realized their thoughts make emotions, and then they think about those emotions and make more emotions, they can end up with up to 14 negative emotions in one chakra. And predominantly through this pandemic, I've really seen it rattling people's base chakra, that tribal chakra, the foundation, and then it goes up. It festers, and whatever's below goes above, and up it goes. More emotional chaos right through the body building. But the real mastery comes from understanding that actually this spirit body that contains these chakras and pipework is my feelings, and my feelings are my life force. So I've got to be very particular about what I'm thinking about and what feelings I'm producing, because it's destabilizing me. And this is why this mastery around self-observance and observing your thoughts and choosing whether you need to have that thought and experience that emotion, or perhaps you do need to go through it and be in the moment with it. But yeah, very important to understand the reason why we get so ungrounded and so hard to come back to center and be aligned is because of how loose and floppy this whole energy system is. And it's meant to be, because it guides you. So if I feel off center, then if my energy feels clear, and I said yes to someone and I really didn't sit with it, and I started to doubt myself and get a little worried, then that out of alignment's good, because I can say, oh, I don't feel right. And then when I sit with it and go, oh, I've got to ring them up and say no, boom, back it comes. But if you're fragmented all over the place, you're never going to get any guidance. And I think it's really imperative to start to understand this is the year, not being your thoughts and not being your emotions, and being the consciousness, and allowing your feeling state to be generated through creator thoughts. You know, I'm going to create a feeling that's going to really serve me. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to think and have faith this year, because that'll keep me in alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautifully put.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's so important.
Very important to master, and then to keep checking in to make sure that you are running on life force energy.
It's easy to fragment when you've got 12 plus chakras that are very, very much about recording. Oh, you had a bit of fear today, did you? Oh, I'll put that in your base chakra. Oh, you don't like that woman behind the counter because she asked you this and asked you that. Oh, I'll put anger in your sacral chakra. Oh, oh, and it just so happens now it's triggered your trauma because you used to have that there anyway, and your body's like, oh, looks like, smells like the past. Okay, I'll bring that in too. And so what's happening to people is they've got multiple trauma wheels going on.
Yeah.
There's a pandemic trauma wheel that's a collective trauma that is triggering past. So if you're overdoing your shadow work, time to stop, time to book in for a private session, read what's going on and get out of that chaos, because it's a very complicated system once it's all bogged down. And that's why it's hard to get out of. But we don't have the time to think, oh, well, I'll spend the rest of my life releasing my chakra blocks. No time anymore. You've got to be clear, balanced, grounded, and then from there it's just glorious, because all the energies are just awaiting to turn your body into a pure conduit of light.
And really important as we start to work through these activations with the Kundalini, that your chakras are open.
Oh yeah,
imperative.
And I think that's where the self-mastery comes from in the morning. You know, build your morning ritual. It's an absolute must, you know, as to go through your day and set that intention in the morning that you're grounded, and you know your chakras are all open and clear and that, but also to be the observer. Don't, you know, like where I work, I have to be an observer, because I can't take on all of the information that I'm getting from customers and people that I meet every day, because that would just continuously shut me down if I attach to it. So it's just be the observer and just be mindful of that, you know, and just say, well, it's not mine. I don't need to attach to it. And it's theirs, and just let it go and be that. Do
you want to share that story where you had that lady that was in grief and what you said to her? I thought it was brilliant.
So I've got a lovely lady at work, and she's just lost her husband, and she's really struggling with that. And I just had a quiet word, pulled her aside, had a wee quiet word with her. And it's just about, you know, staying present in the moment and just observing the feelings that she has for her husband and what she's been through, and just really bringing it, centering it into her heart space, and just really feeling that emotion rather than putting a negative spin on the emotion, you know. And I just pulled her aside, and I just placed my hand on her heart, and I just said, now feel it there, not here, you know. And
that's wonderful.
And she did, and she was very emotional, and you know, and she came back to me at the end of the day, and she said, I've just had the best afternoon. She said, because I haven't been thinking up here of all of the stuff that she's been through. She's just really brought it into her heart and really feeling him now here, you know. And it was magical, you know. And she just thanked me, and now even today she came back to me and she said, I'm still doing it, you know. And over Christmas, you know, and she lights a candle, and she has that candle and just spends the time, but from here, you know, from in here, the love, and that, not grief. No. And it was amazing. Yeah. But it's just be the observer and just when you learn to, you know, to do that and to step away from the attachments of the other people's emotions, because, you know, you want to protect what you're building within inside you, you know. So it's it's really important to have those practices in the morning, you know, set that meditation time, really sort of build on that, you know, and be grateful, show gratitude for the day ahead, you know, and really be thankful. Going goosey. But I think it's really important to do that, and it just brings you into alignment with yourself. Then you will know and you will feel it if, like Anita said, you have attached to something or emotion, and you will start going out of alignment. You will feel it.
But I love what you're saying. Just bring it back into the heart, center it in the heart, stay with it, and the emotion will go back into motion. You'll feel it. And then you'll really start to get into tune with, not like you say, putting a negative spin on it. Oh, well, I got angry. Okay, sit with that. Just breathe, bring it back in here. Boom, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's just gone back into motion. It's such an amazing system. It's just a shame we weren't educated.
It's sometimes
as
having that breath, if you start stepping into there or feeling their energy, it's moving their energy out of you. And I visualize it like I'm just moving energy out from my sacred heart space and just pushing them on the other side, you know, of a glass window. So then you'll view them on the other side, because sometimes people's energy will come in and just having a bit of, you know, having a breath and like, oh yeah, and just intentionally just clearing it and grounding it off.
But actually you had to be present to it in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why being present and knowing how you feel first thing in the morning, once you've done your rituals and you feel great and you're high vibe, then when you're walking into walls of energy, you can actually do something about it. But if you're 5 hours later, it's
important to be creating these changes for you to be masterful too, from within your sacred heart space with an I am statement.
Yeah.
Said from in here, not from up here. If it's said from up here, you'll do 1 or 2 and then that'll be the end of it. If you really say it and connect in from your sacred heart space, you know, I am gifting myself 15 to 20 minutes a day to do my daily rituals, clear my energy, and say it and mean it from in here, you'll have the whole power of the universe to help support you in achieving that.
My cat helped me this morning.
Didn't help me. I just put a pillow over my head and go back to sleep. But anyway.
So I put together, which we'll send on the email, just a little list there of the master the basics and the greatest pitfalls as well, because we feel it's really important to support all of you, because we're a family of light and we're all here collectively to grow and increase our frequencies, to ascend. And we don't want anyone left behind, you know, and it's not a case of anyone's better than anyone else. It's just understanding that there's a lot out there, and it's just understanding how to do it. And, you know, I mean, obviously we offer lots of support with our events and workshops outside of this, but yeah, trying to give you some resources. And I was going to put together, we'll put the groups on Facebook that you can join so that you can get access to one of my grounding meditations. And you're going to have tonight's recording as well. And, you know, if you find the meditations really useful, you can always hold your phone and do the grounding meditation and then just have that on your phone, and then do the other meditation if you want it for a longer period later.
I'm about to put you on the spot. Creating a morning meditation for everyone to listen to start their day.
Okay. Sure.
There you go.
I will get up and do it myself.
Does it start with the cat going meow?
No, I just think it'd be nice for
it's a lovely idea.
Because I mean, you know, everyone, they're listening to you with your meditations and stuff, and I think it would be nice for you to put a morning meditation
but it'd be nice for you to do yours too, your morning ritual one. So maybe you do one and I'll do one, and then people have got 2.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. And it's just a nice way to get yourself started.
I can give you a snoring meditation.
I think it's just a nice way to get yourself
to
get started. You know, just sometimes just listening to something is all it takes. You know, just to really, you know, and then if you really move on to maybe not listening or design, you know, having your own way of doing it from there. And
in the end, it's all rote learning. Our brain's so brilliant at remembering anything we repeat.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds brilliant. So we had a little look before everyone came on the call about some distortions and on the other side of the fence, and we've been noticing in the last wee while that things are coming out actually from the ground more and Gaia rather than from up here coming down. You still get a bit from up here, but actually coming in through the soles of your feet. And be mindful of these distortions, because I cleared off 20 from everyone that's on the call tonight. So, you know, these are things that are going to lower your frequency. They can affect your chakras, your energy, how you're feeling. So be mindful on that. You know, we will be running through in another energy protection workshop this year, but, you know, the others are available. I think we've put on some of them on free too, haven't we? We put that on the Keeper of the Light YouTube channel. I think
Yeah.
we put energy protection. So be mindful of that, because, you know, really you shouldn't have 20 distortions, you know, across the board of what, nearly 50 people on the call. You know, it's nearly like 1 in 2 had distortions on them. So, you know, be mindful of, if you're not quite feeling yourself, then run through the practices that will take you 1 to 2 minutes on clearing anything and everything, or the step-by-step, more methodical process. But you really time to be very masterful on that. And we're really noticing too on clearing out from the high heart, not necessarily your sacred heart, but your high heart, thymus gland. They're really having a bit of a focus on that. And Sharon and I were talking about that last night when we had dinner, on really clearing that out. And we've got some opportunities. We've been doing some deep cleansing on that from where that energy's been coming from. But there's still some aspects there that we do a clear out. When I'm doing the channeling, we clear out your high heart, which is all about where your intent originates from. So you can see why there's distortions being put in there on what your intent is for moving forwards. And also in the higher mind too, that connects in, for those that have done the psychic development, some of the other workshops, in with the 11th chakra, which is the universal mind, for where we want to be connecting. So you can see why they're targeting in here and in the thymus too. So it's 2 other little things that we are really on to making sure that those areas are clear, so our intent isn't being inhibited and our connection into the universal mind is clear too. So yeah, we'll have a little spring clean on those when I come through to do the channeling. We'll clear out those. And some have been yawning here just by hearing that and the intention.
And some on the call as well. I've actually noticed.
And I've just put all of you on the call up into the billionth dimension of where we're going to be playing later on. There's only 2 more to go, so let's just remove those out now. Just pull forward the rays of creation. That's it. So we just cleared everyone. So you can see how quick and easy it is. Like, it took me, what, 20 seconds? But it's just knowing and asking, hang on, am I fully clear? Yes. Have I missed anything? No. Just by asking those 2 questions, you'll then know, okay, where do I need to start, or what do I need to do to keep everything clear? Yeah.
And I will get Matt to put the 2 energy protection workshops together in a bundle with a discount, and also last year's 2021 in energy activations. We'll do the same, and we'll get them up for anyone who's interested in doing those courses that didn't get to do it.
Yeah, and we're playing, as you can see now, in the far higher dimensions. You know, we've been playing a lot last year in the 24th dimension, which is still infinitely powerful, infinite pure consciousness, infinite pure light, infinite pure love. Those 3 dimensions, the 24th dimension. You know, I work with that dimension every day with every client, so we don't negate it just because it's a lower number. It just depends on what we're doing. And we've played a lot in the 100th dimension, the infinite pure essence of the creator. But we can go up and speed things up even more by going into the billionth dimension, which is like a table that the creator's prepared for us to start putting the little ingredients on what do we want to do. And just by intentionally moving each and every one of you on the call to that billionth dimension onto that table allows us to start to do some of this work up here too at a very quick pace. Yeah, very quick pace. So we'll be going into more on that, on the psychic development and some of these activations on the different dimensions and where we're playing now. But they've really been opened up to just allow us to, you know, work and where we're going. And we'll be playing in the billionth dimension when we'll be connecting up and collecting up some of these soul memories, soul lifetimes, in through the 20th dimension too. I was being told infinite pure light too. Don't worry, there won't be a test on it all, but for those who know, that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. All right.
All right. I've talked about that.
Done that.
Done that
okay,
one.
so we're up to number 4.
Yep.
Guided.
Yeah, just before we
hang
launch
on.
into that.
What was this one here from Sharon? Did we do this one?
Yeah, that was me.
I've done
just
that.
talking
Yep.
about,
Yeah. Beautifully about that.
All right, so we've only got 2 items left. Oh no, 3, sorry. Your one that you've just sprung on us. And Go on, what's this one? What are you looking at?
Well, I just thought it's great to give
making some
everyone a
notes.
bit of feedback on the average frequencies that are everyone on the call, because otherwise, if you don't know your frequency, you don't know the work that has to be done. And we're going to really encourage everyone to start using a pendulum and measuring their frequency daily. We talked about creating a worksheet, an email, have you, and just little reminders
I'd like to
about
do it through an app. Like we're talking to Matt about doing that, to record it, because you really need to be masterful.
You need to
Where's
know.
my energy? Because if you're seeing yourself at 200,000, then oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
There's some work here that I need to do to shift over there, where David is, and we're coming into those billions and into the higher ones.
So humanity's at a -100 on average, and that's bad. I've actually seen my first ever client at -10,000. So that's new news to me. And we'll get to talk about that when we ask questions about what that means. But I would assume if they're going lower, we have to go even higher to counterbalance the ballast. Now, I've just grouped the call into the low average, the medium average, and the high average. So the low average is 100,000. Now, that's great compared to 100. But just to let you know, the downward spiral is 50,000 and below. So if you're at 100,000, you're only just got your head above the water. And it's just because your grounding's at 25%. We're about to sort that out. So you'll be amazed at how sorting your grounding out opens up your flow tap, opens up all your pipe work, and then it's like a Gaia, a geyser. All the chakras and all your energy opens up and it clears the pipe work. So the medium average frequency is 300,000, so up 3 times more. 300,000 is okay now. It's not great. You're probably this far out of the density, and 50% grounded. But to me, it's just a grounding issue and a activation issue. So when we get to then the high end, we have 900,000. So it's fabulous. Just one out from the billion, where we really want you all to start playing in the frequency of 1 billion now. But all of it's good. If you're holding a positive frequency, if you're having an ungrounded, stressful day, you can drop to -100. So none of it's personal. It's a system, and you are learning to drive your body Ferrari, not crash it. And we all go through those stages of crashing it, and trauma and shadow work and ungrounded and stress. But now it's really, really, really staying grounded. And if you're stressed, stay grounded. And like Sharon said, just stay in your heart. It will pass, and you won't keep, because what actually happens is every time you unground, you start bringing your aura in and you start crushing all your pipe work. And so your hara line can get crimped and your chakras are then not getting any energy. So then you can end up getting more and more ungrounded. So this is why grounding and flow is so important, and actually just learning. It's just water off a duck's back. I'm just going to observe it. Everybody else is stressed. I don't have to be. I'm just going to breathe. Actually, there's nothing I can do. It's out of my control. I'm just going to watch it. I'm just going to observe it. And this is really the place you want to be. You don't want to be battling yourself anymore. You don't want to be suffering from anxiety or depression. It's just an energy block. It's not a permanent state, is what I'm saying. And none of it's personal. It's just learning how to drive this body Ferrari. And that's what we're here to help you with. We're doing a bit of clearing over here. Space invaders have come in.
Well, it was when we said the frequency of everybody.
We got that,
because we can connect to that, unfortunately, which is why we have to be very careful about.
See, that's interesting.
What we're saying.
Everybody thought that, and so it poured it in.
Yeah.
And that's how manifestation's happening now, which is why we're saying just stay in your center. It's not going to take anything to be whoa, whoa, whoa. It's incredible how quickly your thought manifests.
Well, it was instant, came in.
It was instant.
Yeah. And who are you making a union with? Are you having bad thoughts about someone? Well, you just made a contract, and now you're wearing that energy because that's how fast it's moving.
Which is why it's important to be seeing everything from the other side of Shakespeare's theatre and the other side of that glass pane, like you're looking from the inside of your house on the outside. so you're keeping these things out there, because otherwise if we're wide open, it's like, here we go.
So no matter what frequency you are, no matter what your grounding is, it doesn't matter, because you're here, and that's what these events are all about. Just getting you back into alignment, keeping your frequency high. And that's why when we all work as a collective, you'll feel the energy tonight. It's palpable when we all come together on a call together compared to doing this on your own.
Yeah, no, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, we can't do the work by ourselves. Like, we need the collective of you being on the call to support us, to bring this energy forward. Yeah. We definitely can't do it alone. So thank you all for sharing.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with like-minded souls, and we're all
refreshing,
on the same team.
Oh, brilliant.
All shooting for the same goal.
It is, and I think it's kind of like the soul family. We come together, we do these activations, we spend time, and that does lift us. We feel like in our everyday lives, we can sometimes feel like we're not quite there, because people, we feel one way, but then we're out in the other world and we have to start feeling a different way. Well, actually, no, you can still be in, your center, in your heart space, out in that 3D world, and it's just but you're not of it.
Yeah.
And you just learn how to, be in that space and stay in that space, and keep yourself grounded and keep yourself in your sacred heart space.
And I think that's why Buddha just sits there with that smirk on his face, because it just doesn't matter what's going on. He's in his sacred heart. He's just got that little grin, that knowing grin. And in the face of adversity, if you can keep a smile in your heart and just have a little smile and a little chuckle to yourself and go, oh, look, here's more tempting drama. No, thanks. And really just stay in the peace, stay in the stream.
Absolutely.
Stay in the flow.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do some flowing and some grounding and some connecting with each other and build up the energy for the main course. That's you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I've gone all orange. You two have just taken your light away. Sacral chakra. Oh, it's worse. Oh, I'm peach now.
Why have you got orange?
I don't know. I don't have Matt's excuse for being sunburnt or anything. It'll have to do. It's all right. We're all going to have our eyes shut anyway. We need a bit of orange. We need a bit of kundalini. Let's warm up those vectors, hey? Right. Oh, where's your thing? It's probably on there, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was too. I don't recognise it because it's black. I like my background's white.
I don't know how I changed it. I don't know how to change it.
So let's just have a little stretch into the body vessel. We've been talking a lot, so we're going to get out of our heads, stop absorbing things through the mind, and just start soaking it up and just trusting and believing that you are absorbing and your brain is amazing and your whole aura is a sponge. You just take all this on and you're already upgraded and you're just going to keep going up. So just take a lovely breath and we'll just really use that little exercise that I use to drop out of the head. So just imagine you've got a big donut around your forehead. And this is all that busyness, that freneticness. And what we're going to do is shut our eyes and just visualize that on the in-breath, we're going to rise up, and then on the out-breath, we're going to smash that donut down into the ground. So when you're ready, just... And it's good to do it 3 times. And really seeing that visual, seeing yourself just grounding that energy out. And now it's time to shift and really shift into your sacred heart. And it really comes from the tone of your voice. And so I have to slow down. I have to sound more loving. And so just hear yourself out loud, or if you're saying it within your head, do it in a sing-songy way so that it's very light and you've changed an octave. And your energy system really recognizes the difference when you're speaking from your heart, and it'll flick you over if you're talking too fast, breathing too shallow. So take that big, deep breath, put a smile within your heart, and just saying, I am in my sacred heart. Perhaps you've had a busy day and you don't quite feel there. So just place your hand on your heart and now just say to yourself some things that you love. I love my family. I love my animals. I love me. I love being me. I love coming and doing this energy work. I love the earth. I love being part of this family of light. I love knowing that I can do something, be a part of something. So it's just really great to say those beautiful words or give gratitude to something to really, really bring you into your sacred heart space. And now it's time to begin to focus on, where are we? What dimension are we in? And we want to leave the third dimension and use our multi-dimensional superpowers. So when you say, I am in my sacred heart, you've already entered the sacred heart portal, that multi-dimensional access point. And so visualize yourself as a little mini me within your sacred heart, in that sacred room that contains your eternal flame. And just imagine you're sitting in that room, you've got a couch in the corner, and you're looking at that magnificent eternal flame within your heart. There's the wick, and there's that beautiful orange at the bottom, infinite pure love. That's why we say, I love you from the bottom of my heart. And the white in the center of the flame, the infinite light of the 20th dimension, infinite pure light. And the little tip that's blue is the pure infinite consciousness of the 23rd dimension. So just saying to yourself, I am infinite pure love. I am infinite pure light. I am infinite pure consciousness. And just imagine stepping off, standing up in that inner sanctuary and stepping into your eternal flame. And imagine that you're shrinking down, you're becoming smaller and smaller. You're shrinking down into that eternal flame within your sacred heart. And you're becoming a spectrum of light within the flame. You're becoming a proton, an atom, a molecule, a fractal of light. Just feel that as you become at one with everything, as you dive deeper and deeper into your sacred heart. And now saying, I am in the billionth dimension. I am the creator in the billionth dimension. And you've transported your consciousness, your fractal of light, into a beautiful white band of light. And you're just a part of it. Just feel yourself as a spark of light in an infinite number of sparks of light. At one with the billionth dimension. And now it's time to use our visual powers as we work in this higher dimension. It is like you are remote healing yourself, and that transfers down to you here in the physical. So let us begin to use our third eye and just visualizing an outline of yourself in that billionth dimension, a cookie cutter outline of your light body, not so much your physical body. And we're going to invite in Gaia And just seeing yourself standing on Gaia. And you might see that picture shrinking down so that you can see the planet and you standing on it in the billionth dimension. And seeing yourself standing on the crystalline grid, almost like you're hovering, connected 360 degrees to the left, to the right, the front, the back. That your feet are locked down. Your left foot is locked down like a magnet. Your right foot is locked down like a magnet into that crystalline grid. And now it's time to really ground very thoroughly. I am Archangel Metatron. And I want you to say, I am Archangel Metatron. You are inviting Archangel Metatron into your sacred heart to assist you and anchor your grounding. We're going to begin by assisting that busy mind to be grounded. So I want you to put your attention as you see yourself in the billionth dimension. And I want you to create a copper coil within your brain space. And I want you to run that to the back of your third eye. And then I want you to run that copper wire down through your atlas vertebrae, down through the cervical neck, into the upper thoracic, and you're sending that copper wire right down through the center of all your vertebrae. So as you're seeing it in the billionth dimension, then be feeling it here in your body. So see it dropping down behind your heart into your lower back curve, into your L5, the last vertebrae, and now going down through your sacrum and finding its way to your tailbone. And now create another copper coil on your tailbone. That's it. And now I want you to take that wiring from your tailbone and take it down to your Earth star and see that as a little pyramid, a body space below you, or nestling into the crystalline grid, however you see it. So you're putting that copper coil down into the Earth star. And now just bring your attention back to your sacred heart and place another copper coil into your sacred heart and bring it out towards your spinal cord, and then run the wiring down through your spinal cord, down to your perineum, and just join the wiring up from your tailbone to your perineum so that there's a circuit there. And now I want you to take that copper wire from your perineum into both of your hips. If you feel you need to make copper coils there, make them. Now running that copper wiring through your thigh bone, through your knees, down through your shin bones, into your heels, and running forward into your soles of your feet. And now play making copper coils under the soles of your feet, spiraling around, clearing the soles of your feet. You're already connected to the crystalline grid. And now take that wiring down and place it into your Earth star. And let us ask Archangel Metatron to assist us spinning our Earth stars in an anti-clockwise direction at 90% the speed of light. So just imagine all of us now standing together on Gaia. And let's all connect our hearts and connect our hands. And let's begin to spin our Earth stars at 90% the speed of light. Just imagine a beautiful vortex beginning to open up that we're creating under our own feet. And these vortexes are starting to join together to whoever's standing next to you, the left, the right, around and around. Our vortexes are all connecting and sparking. Whew. And just imagine now we've created this big anti-clockwise circle that's running underneath our feet from the left to the right and around. Can you feel that? Can you feel that? Beautiful. And just keep running that energy around and around. And we're just going to grow that vortex from the crystalline grid. And we're going to allow it to start climbing up through the soles of our feet. And just imagine the energy being pulled up through the center of Gaia. Just imagine it going into the crystalline grid and it's sparking everywhere. And we're creating this beautiful vortex under our feet and allow it to rise up, feel it coming up through you. Take a breath and just allow that beautiful magnetic energy to keep flowing up through your legs. And you can feel it, it's wider than your legs. It's becoming into your energy field. It's coming up through that copper wiring, through your knees, into your hips. You can feel it coming into your perineum. You can feel it sparking at your tailbone, but you can feel it also coming up through your torso and around your torso. Whoa, and just feel it coming up into your heart, into your brain. That beautiful earth energy. That's just going to neutralize and flush everything out, and just keep seeing that vortex spinning under our feet. See it rising up around all of us, this massive vortex that we're creating of white light as we hover onto the crystalline grid of Gaia. And just imagine as we're holding our hands together, the sparking that's going on between our hands. And now we begin to run that energy from our left hand through our sacred heart and our higher heart, back down through our right hand through the next person. So now connect to the energy running under our feet and running through our hands and heart. Wow. And now begin to send that energy into the center point, so that we all begin to send our energy into the center of the vortex and just feel it building in a spiral. Whoo, hairs are standing on end. That's it. Keep it going. Keep it going. Oh, and just feel it building up now in front of you, through you, and around you in that big anti-clockwise vortex. And imagine now we're just creating a grand scale Metatron's cube, that it's just building up around us. It's building up around us. Don't overthink it. Just use your breath. Keep that vortex spinning under your feet, through your sacred heart, through your palms of your hands. It's coming up through your throat chakra. Just allow it to flush out and hold the intention that that earth energy is just pushing up through your vertical column. It's pushing up through your energy body. You are translucent. See yourself up in the billionth dimension. See the visual of this energy building up. See it, then feel it. That's it. This energy is just rising up, coming up into our psychic channels. Feel it coming up through your throat chakra into your pineal gland. Keep your attention on the energy spinning under the soles of your feet. Keep your attention on that energy running through your arms, running through your sacred heart. Keep that center point, that 0 point between us. Well done. The vortex is still building now and growing up through our crowns into our upper celestial chakras. Feel it going up into our 8th celestial chakra, our soul star. Say hello, soul star. We're really looking forward. I am looking forward to knowing more about my soul. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And now allowing that energy to move up into your 9th celestial chakra, just building that vortex up. It's still spinning at your feet. It's still spinning through your heart. Our hearts are all connected in that center point. And just begin to watch the grace of that center point just rising up now like a willy-willy. It's just rising up and it's spreading out. And collectively, we're now just rising up through all our celestial chakras. It's like a beautiful big crown, a ring that's just rising up. And it's just going up higher and higher as we ascend up to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. We're going up 500,000. We're going up even higher. It's infinite. We're going all the way up to 800,000, 900,000. And let's all take a big breath. And on the out breath, send the energy out through your sacred heart. And let's push that ring up through the billionth celestial chakra. And just see those fireworks going off into that billionth celestial chakra collectively. I am at a frequency of 1 billion. And now let us ask the Arcturian Head Council, the Pleiadian Head Council, the Orion Head Council, the Syrian Keepers of Light Codes. Please send me all the light codes I need in this moment to upgrade to Homo Luminous. And just imagine now the vortex beginning to spin in a clockwise direction. Imagine that beautiful energy up at the billionth, and now there's these light codes and fractals of light pouring down, pouring down. Keep that vortex now spinning. Feel it changing under your feet to clockwise. Feel it changing from your right hand through your sacred heart to your left hand. Feel it spinning above your crown now in a clockwise direction. You can feel it getting faster. That's it. And now we just welcome down the fractals of light. The fractals of light that are waking you up. And you are a pure conduit of light. These fractals of light that are upgrading you are running through you now, through the soles of your feet, through your copper wiring, into the crystalline grid. And you are now creating a download for other humans to get grounded and upload. Beautiful. Well done. And just saying to yourself, I am Homo Luminous. I am at a billion in frequency. Ooh, I am living in the billionth dimension. And just keep that beautiful feeling. Feel the buzzing in your hands, the buzzing in your feet. And let's now just go quiet and just feel that upgrade. And give great gratitude for yourself, because you've just given service to humanity and created 100% spiritual growth right now in this moment. This is what you've come here to be, a pure conduit of light, a bringer of heaven to earth, to live within your sacred heart, to maintain the flow of that light 24/7, because it's easy for you. You were born to do this, born in the stars, born of the stars. Stardust, it feels good. Well done. And as you bring yourselves back, be gentle, be quiet, just be.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Very powerful.
Did you feel when we all came together?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, all those light codes when they were coming in.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. When you were bringing in all the Orions and everything, I was really feeling the energy coming
Everyone
through.
feel that?
Can I ask the
really
Andromedan, do they have Andromeda? They haven't joined us really, have they? Because I know we've got Andromedan star seeds, and I feel a bit remiss not.
It's like they play a supporting role.
Yeah.
Really. Like it's like they're the back row or the second row of a kind of like of a rugby scrum. They're showing me. It's
Oh, it's nice to have them there.
yeah.
Yeah, you need that.
You
The
do.
back line, the defence.
You do. It's like the defense line. They're really adding their weight and energy to it. So it's like they're there with us when we're connecting in with the star seeds. And wow, those light codes, it was like fairy dust when I was watching all of those light codes come in. It's incredible.
Oh, it felt amazing. Especially, could you feel it turn when we turned it? Yeah.
Yeah, really powerful.
Oh, where's everybody's
very
frequency as a collective? 1 billion. We all did it. Well done, guys.
Welcome to the Billion Club.
Yeah.
So so the feeling and how you're feeling now should be like your baseline. So if you're feeling that Oh, Monica was saying the dogs went crazy.
Mm.
If you're feeling that you're dropping from this area, then it's time to be masterful and asking why, because it's a frequency in how you're feeling that you can hold, you know, at this level, that lightness, that ease, you know, you can feel it in the air around you. Like we can feel it, you know, here where we're recording, you know, there's a real lightness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really powerful, really powerful. So remember to come back to, you know, that meditation, and we are chunking them too, so you can just listen to that specific meditation again.
You know, this is the 11th of the 1st. This is the oneness. So, you know, I've got to say 11-1 at the beginning. But do you want to just share how you bring the power of previous events,
sure.
so people can use that with their clearance?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sharon and I were doing a little bit of
Clearing
work in the background here too, to support that frequency that was pushed out to humanity too. So it'd be interesting for you to have a little look at humanity.
Where the humanity is,
Frequency.
Yeah, they're switched on now.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
What were they when you looked before? Were they
Minus 100.
minus 100?
Well, 100,000. One day, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're at 100,000 already. So you'll feel that out in your everyday life after we did the Homo Luminous work. You know, the frequency of humanity went up to 400,000, and they held it for about 3 days, and then it came back down. So, you know, really well done on the work that you did, because that's a massive shift from humanity moving into dis-ease. You know, they've got a long way to go to come up to where you're playing now, but they're on that journey, and that's part of why we're here to help. Don't worry about it. You know, you may be sleeping at the moment, but we've got your back.
Yeah.
You know.
And yes, there was a lot of yawning. A lot of yawning in the room here too. So there was a lot of clearing, and yeah, Rob and I were definitely supporting that and clearing stuff that we saw coming through from that.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I had a very clear channel. I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah.
I had blankly blank.
And for me, see, I remember the time for those that joined us on the solstice on 21/12/21, and that massive piece of world service that we did. So I call into, like I'm just pointing here in that little consciousness above my finger here, for all of the star seeds that we pulled up into that billionth dimension, where all of the star seeds on the planet were clear. We removed all of the distortions from them. And I call on that spark of consciousness of all of the star seeds on the planet from 21/12/21, when I'm having to go about doing a lot of my keeper of the light work behind the scenes. I call on that spark of consciousness for everyone, harnessing the rays of creation to remove a lot of all of this crud from the other side of the fence. So if you ever feel you're getting stuck with some distortions, remember to call back on to either the 21/12/21, that consciousness of all of the star seeds, or today you can do it on 11/1/2022, to call on all of that consciousness if you're having to clear any energies from your home or workplaces, or any of those proteins that are around from people that have had the old stabby stab, then you can call on that consciousness to do it, because it really speeds up the work that we have to do. It's what Sharon and I were just doing in the background when Anita was running through that with you all. Yeah. So remember, we're not alone in that, and I couldn't do the work that I'm asked to do without calling on all of your consciousness and all of those beings that we helped pull up into that layer of consciousness with their frequency too. Yeah. So some key little things that you can do to just help. Just do some spring cleaning.
Yeah.
Send them with love.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. It was big, and like
And
Rob
they don't
said,
like my dagger either.
No, they
It's a bit
don't.
vicious
No.
looking, isn't
they
it?
don't. But no, the light codes were actually incredible coming through. So yeah, well done. Amazing, Nita. Thank you.
Oh, I can.
The energy
still move, but
oh, it's chills. I've got chills. It was just
So please do anchor this feeling now. Ask from your sacred heart space to anchor this feeling and this frequency said from within here, because it will give you that baseline when you then know, oh, actually, I'm not feeling as well as I did on 11/1. Oh, okay, and then you can start to run through the list or start to clear anything or everything that's come into your space, time, and dimension. for any past, present, or future lifetimes.
So Monica just said that her hands and her feet feel very activated.
That's because we all did that collectively. It was so obvious when we swapped from single circle to collective circle. It was amazing. I've never done that before. It's amazing.
Well, we move into, like we said on that first slide, we're working as a force of one for the work we do, which is why I connect into that force of one with all of the star seeds and the light workers, you know, to harness that energy right there. Yeah, when we're all here as one, directing the course of humanity and where we're going, and looking after some of those, you know, human seeds that just need our help in the moment. Yeah.
Amazing.
Was there any channeling or activations you wanted to bring forward? Anything we've got since we've been going, or do you want me to roll into what we're doing here with this reunification?
There is possibly something coming through, but I'll sit with it just for a minute. But possibly on the back of whatever. I'm sort of feeling.
This is generally how it rolls. We get snippets of, we'd like you to do this, like we covered off on the handout, but then the extra bits come in. Sometimes in the present moment, where Sharon and I behind the scenes go,
this. It's like that. Beautiful.
Okay, right. So if everyone would like to take a drink and get comfy again, and then we run through.
Good enough drink there?
Yes, I will give myself a little top up. Where's my wine gone?
You're non-alcoholic wine.
It's non-alcoholic. It's actually not too bad, actually. Jacob's Creek. It's the nicest one I found, if anyone wants. Not too sweet. Just remember, though, if you put it in the freezer, to chill it quickly to get it out. And my intuition said to me, setting a little alarm, and I didn't, and then I forgot, and then I had to clean up a right mess in the freezer.
It'll explode.
It was like frothy frozen frost.
Glass and froth everywhere.
You can do that.
Intuition told me to set an alarm. I didn't follow it. No. And that's those little intuitive thoughts to, you know, it's a little nudge.
Just before you get underway, keep in your mind that we want to ask those questions about your starseed mission. So you prompt, you know, I know you and Sharon will sort of talk when it's going to be.
Yeah, we can do that after. I look a bit red too, a bit sunburnt.
Not as sacral as me. I'm sacral queen.
And keep an eye too on your food and drink, and keeping it clear for 2022. You know, before I'm drinking anything, I'm making sure that it's clear, and if I missed anything, no, and activate it in that billionth dimension.
Raising its frequency.
So you're raising its frequency. Really important.
Yeah, you love doing that.
You know, really important, because we're noticing that, you know, there's some things from over here coming into the food, and, you know, when you're shopping at the supermarkets and places where you're buying fresh fruit, we can get some proteins and other crap on the food that we don't want to be on the food when we're ingesting it. So really be mindful of that, because it can come in from what you're drinking and eating.
Would something simple for people be to like blast your food or your drink, just hold it to your sacred heart and blast it with the flower of life?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just thought it might be a good little tip.
Yeah. So what Anita was saying was we blast a lot of energy out from our sacred heart space with the flower of life, which is really powerful. I will show you on one of the activations too, the universal light symbol and what that looks like too, because we add the universal light symbol into it too. And so you can do it just with an intention, with the flower of life, and we use the universal light symbol, and you can just blast it out from your sacred heart space, you know, through any food, or if you're sitting with your plate on your table, blasting it out, and just ask for it all to be cleared. And you can send it up through one of the clearing portals. You can send it up through the 24th, or straight up through the billionth dimension, just to get rid of it. Yeah, really quick and easy. It will take you like, you know, 2 seconds. It's just an intention of doing it, blasting the energy out.
I was just going to say, with the frequency of like what you're ingesting, and as you raise your own frequency and then you maintain your frequency, it is important to do that, clear your food and really do, intentionally set with the frequency to match your frequency, because that is one thing that I noticed with myself. Since I've started doing that, it is easier, because what you ingest, it can bring your frequency down as well. So if it's at your frequency, and I just set the intention that it's clear, and it's up into the billionth dimension, clear it all, and then bring it into my own frequency, and then you'll find that it's easier to maintain.
Yeah, it changes the taste of food. So
and it does.
Try it by not doing it and then doing it, and your food will taste far more alive, far more rich. Like you're just energizing all of your food.
It's kind of like, you feel really good and then you might eat something and you think, oh, now I'm feeling you just feel that real low.
I don't do that anymore.
No, it doesn't. And it's because of I've noticed that since I've been doing that, it's made a huge difference to how I'm feeling after, not just what I'm eating, being mindful of what I am eating and what I'm drinking and stuff, but also the frequency of what it is as well. Yeah.
You can play with those higher dimensions too if you've eaten something that really hasn't gone down very well too. I'm in my sacred heart space, I'm in the billionth dimension, and you can ask for it to be pulled out from your body too. So if you've eaten something a bit like after Christmas, if you've had turkey and stuffing and
you've had too much
gravy or had too much of something that, actually it's not sitting very well, I'm in the billionth dimension, and then asking for that to be drawn out through your stomach too, and send it up through that clearing portal. Yeah, to remove it. Makes a massive difference. You'll hear your stomach start gurgling, and your stomach can actually come into actually being really quite flat quite immediately.
Yeah, from being sort of kind
I've given away all my trade secrets.
Bloated look,
Well, that's what it's all about. It's about sharing and then practice with it and work it. It really works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. All right. And where you are too, when Anita was running through the guided meditation and activation, as well as you being in the billionth dimension, I intentionally put everywhere where you are on the call up in there too, whether you're at home, to see your house up in that area too. So it makes a big difference when it's not just you, but it's your home, and you can do the same thing with your office, clearing any of those proteins and things like that, supermarkets, before you're going into remove all of that. So, before you're meditating and going to sleep at night time, for protecting, your house, then we put our home up in that dimension and put an impenetrable force field around it. Just kind of using a lot of those words from Star Wars, because they work. They're telling us, oh, this is what you need to do and say. Yeah.
Well, what was it we got off Men in Black 3? Arc and ArcNet. Remember, that's what's kind of like the symbol of NASA. It's like a big blue ball with spiraling circles around it. An ArcNet.
Yeah, ArcNet. Yeah, they tell us a lot in all of the films. So if you've not watched Men in Black for a while, go and revisit it, and Star Wars too. And they were talking in Men in Black 2 about the fifth dimension in Men in Black number 2, I think it was, not the new one. If you've not seen the new one, it's amazing too. But in number 2, they talk about fifth dimensional beings and how we can then operate. And you can tell that it was slid into the movie, because when Anita and we were guided to watch it just before Christmas, it kind of was like a clonk, for the words. It didn't really fit for the words in the movie and the script and things, but they were telling you about fifth dimensional beings and how when you're a fifth dimensional being, you can access any of the dimensions, which is
and that's
why
what was scaring the dark side.
Which is what was scaring them on the other side of the fence, because they know the power that we have the power in the upper hand, because we're in the third dimension, but not of the third dimension, and humanity's going to the fifth dimension, which means we can play and work in any of the dimensions we wish to, all from being within the sacred heart space. And they talk about it in Men in Black too. So definitely watch it, because you'll watch it with a new set of eyes, with your eyes open, going, holy crap, you know.
And I was just going to touch on something, just quickly. Sorry, just off
Topic.
Top,
I don't think this will
it's,
take very long. We can abracadabra the.
It's not actually off topic, but it's just with the, you know, like Rob saying about putting your house up into, you know, the billionth dimension and all of that sort of stuff. There's stuff that I also use on my everyday person when I'm out and about, and some of you may use your crystals and stuff like that. And I think some, you know, it is quite important, you know, with the crystals and some, and I do use them and I do wear them. And I find that it is.
You have a bit of bling on.
I do have a bit of bling. I do have a bit of
on like
bling. But and like, so I've got one on here called hematite, and then there's obsidian, and I find that since I've been wearing them, it's actually really good for, it just repels the energies that you may come into contact with. You can carry them in your pocket, wear them like that as bracelet, necklace, earring, anything, or, you know, anything like that. And I think if you feel connected to it, then it's quite a good tool to have in your toolbox. You know, if you feel that you're connected to crystals in any way, shape, or form. But those two I find are really, really quite good. And tiger's eye, you know, for your grounding and things like that. So if you are drawn to crystals, then yeah, by all means use them in your toolkit, you know. And I was actually given this one. I was drawn to it, and this is for your Wi-Fi and all of that, you know.
Hold it up a bit.
Have a bit of that. Silicon Valley. It's just stops all of the what would you call it?
The frequencies.
The frequency.
Is it better than shungite?
Yeah, shungite is okay for that, but this is actually more powerful than shungite.
Shungite's really for a lot of the spiritual work in the protection and for EMF. Shungite works really well. This is really moving then into the galactic realm.
You have shungite, yeah, but this is Silicon Valley, so you can pick it up any crystal shop.
Matches your
it does, doesn't
nails.
it? But and you can just put it next to, like, if you're working on your computer, carry a bit in your pocket, like if you've got your phone with you, all of that, and it's just a really good protection from all the EMFs and stuff for yourself.
Do you think we look silly wearing a hoodie jumpsuit?
Oh yeah, no,
no.
I just carry a little piece. I've just got a wee little piece that I carry, you know. But it's actually really, really good. So, you know, on at night and you're sitting there on the computer, just put it next to your computer.
And you know, these crystals have really been activated now. They are even more powerful than they were. The crystals on the planet have been fully activated. So, you know, go to your local crystal shop and, you know, be drawn to the crystals using your intuition on which ones will serve you. And, you know, moving now into 2022, you want to make sure that your silica levels are high too, because a lot of these things on the other side of the fence, they get repelled by silica, stops them coming in. So you can get it as a spray, like in Dr. Schulzler's range, cost you about $10 from your health food shop. You know, working with your crystals too, and most people are really quite low in silica, so
it's good for your hair and nails.
Good for your hair and nails
skin.
too, yeah, and your skin. So really be mindful of keeping your silica levels up. Really, really important. As I say, because it repels them and stops them coming into our energy field too.
Room spray.
Room spray.
Yeah, Rebecca, love working with crystals. Yeah.
Yes.
Righty, ho, ho, ho. Let's go, go, go. Right, so let's have a quick drink and then we could do the quick abracadabra. Abracadabra is a very powerful spell. It is with these words I create this intention. I was just asking if they want us to use it or not. We could use it. But it's been given, you know, some of these kind of playful connotations on, oh, you know, it's just used as abracadabra and this is going to manifest. Well, when you're playing in your sacred heart space in the higher dimensions, we can work with abracadabra. We could use abracadabra if it was your intention to clear something or to clear your food without having to run through the whole checklist of what you're doing. I'm just asking whether there would be a benefit from doing that. I'm just asking whether you would miss anything from us running through that process. No? And what about for anyone joining us another time on here? Same thing. Okay. So we play with abracadabra. What it does, it speeds up from what would have been maybe a 10-minute activation with, when I was sitting to the side here, I was getting, okay, this is the work that we're going to be doing in unifying the eternal twin flame that Anita and I are together united here at this time on the planet. For, you know, two souls that have come back together, typically then in, you know, one soul that's split had multiple lifetimes and then coming back together, and we will be playing with that in this soul unification. Actually, let me just push play because this will just help everybody. So if you just listen to the words. So part of the 11.1 activation in 2022 is that soul unification, for picking up some of those fragments of our soul experiences that we've had in many of the multiverses. And we've played with this in 2021 on this psychic development and some of the activations. And for the soul reunification, we're working with the twin flame energy and the eternal twin flame. The eternal twin flame is just that divine aspect of who you are for eternity. And when we incarnate in past, present, and future lifetimes that we're all having in the simultaneous moment through all space, time, and dimensions, there's aspects of us in those different lifetimes that can support us in the present moment. Not all of them, but there's many of them that can support us now. So with an intention, when we play with very powerful words like abracadabra, knowing the intention that we're going to be reunifying all of those soul aspects that we've had in any past, present, future lifetime, bringing them into our sacred heart space, all in the billionth dimension, accessing the 20th dimension, which is the infinite pure light of the Creator. We'll be drawing in and remastering all of those little fragments of souls that we've had, bringing them in through the billionth dimension, in through the sacred flame, in our sacred heart space, in the 20th dimension, infinite pure light, and then accessing that then from the inside of our sacred heart space out. We never pull any energy in from the outside. The energy builds from that flame and expands outwards. And with our intention of reunifying and pulling out all of those fragments of our soul, with the words abracadabra, with these words, as my intention I do create, it starts to pull it all in. And you may feel, each and every one of you on the call that's been listening to those words with the intention, that you may feel that there's a warming effect growing from the inside out. Because with the abracadabra, it's like the ayah, ashur ayah, it is as it is. It is my intention to create that. And as I'm observing everyone on the call, seeing yourselves all in that billionth dimension, on the Creator's little picnic table that it creates for us, pulling in all of the energies there from our sacred heart space within the 20th dimension, the infinite pure light. It allows us to start to pull in all of those fragments of any lifetime we've ever had in any space-time dimension and in any past, present, future lifetimes that we're coexisting in this present moment in time, to harness all of those lifetime soul memories, any qualifications, skills, anything we've had that will benefit us in this lifetime, to start to access that and bring that in through our sacred heart space. And in the abracadabra at the end of that, you may start to feel then that there's actually more of an expansiveness that's coming in to your being from the inside out. And I'm observing that with everyone on the call here, that expansiveness that's coming in. There's lots of yawning going on here in the room. So feel that emanating from within your sacred heart space into every cell, into your physical being. Like I'm feeling tingling because I didn't preempt this for myself either. I can feel it down into the tips of my toes tingling, and I can feel it now expanding outwards from my physical body in through my mental, emotional, spiritual, galactic, morphogenic body too. That's it. In through that soul body too that we have, in creating that aspect of that soul body. And the soul body is that body that not been widely spoken about, that access that is now come to the forward for 2022 for us to have that soul body with all of those memories. They have to be seated somewhere, and they're seated in and around us for us to then be able to start to tap into that. And we tap into that either from our sacred heart space, tapping into it, or from what would be our umbilical cord, from our navel area. So we're just seeing then each and every one of you on the call, that's it. We're just making those connections into your soul, body and being. You may feel too around you, like I'm feeling, there's an expansiveness then, like you're being contained by your soul body too. It's another layer of consciousness there for us to start to tap into. Making sure then that your feet are connecting into that bottom access, like you would see on the flower of life. If I sit up a little bit more, just in the bottom bit, that's it, anchoring down from your feet to the top of your head, left and right, front and back. Beautiful. Yeah, that's it. And to finish then, I just asked, is everybody's anchored? And I got a yes from inside my sacred heart space. And I asked, has anyone missed anything? And I got a no. And it was interesting because it was right at that time that Sharon felt it too. And to start to access those soul memories, we just spin our soul body. And you start to spin it at 90% of the speed of light.
Which way?
It goes anti-clockwise. And then it starts to go to spin like in its own morphogenic field, like you would have where it then starts to spin the other way too. So it creates its own field of consciousness. A bit like a gyroscopic instrument that you'd have in a plane or a helicopter. And then when you start to spin it like that, like I'm starting to see those soul memories, you know, coming out into that field of consciousness, that then with an intention we can start to tap into, okay, what's the most beneficial piece of information from any of my lifetimes, past, present or future, in any space, time or dimension, that's going to support me or my spiritual growth or my service for humanity. And sometimes it can be a feeling sensation. Sometimes you might see images pop into your mind. The key is to, where the question is asked, the answer is given. Meaning to stay in that moment. You may feel it coming then from your sacred heart space, or images like I'm beginning to see. Mine that's coming in is of a field with rolling fields, with the sun, with the sky. An aspect there for me to make sure that I'm balancing all of the work in these 16 activations over the next year with enough rest, rejuvenation and replenishment for myself. You might see glimpses of you when you've not been in embodiment to. You might see aspects of you when you've been working with your other starseed family. It might be a box or a gift. Sometimes it can be a sound. The key is stay out of your head, remain in your sacred heart space. Sometimes there can be a feeling sensation too. If you feel that there's nothing coming, then you can ask again from your sacred heart space for the most applicable piece of information or a sign to see something from that field of consciousness that you've created from your soul body to come into your present awareness. Sometimes if you don't get it in the present moment, it can come to you in your dream space, when you're driving, when you're walking on the beach. It will come with your intention from your sacred heart space. So be playful, be joyful, keep the vibration and frequency really high. Know that with your intent there, it's absolute. It's said from your sacred heart space. It is as it is. Ayara Shura Ya. You're commanding for it to come forwards. Yeah, beautiful. And with a lot of these activations, there can be a level of mastery with it too. The more that you master being in balance, being able to hold your intention and your focus on one thing without being distracted. Oh, who was that just leaving? What's going on over here? And you break that connection. So it's then, okay, back into my sacred heart space, play in the billionth dimension with an intention then, because we've anchored this with everyone that's heard that, spin it 90% of the speed of light, it creates its own field of consciousness like a gyroscope, holding that stability and have an intention and asking it to come. Lots of deep breaths going on here. So yeah, well done. So play with it.
And when Rob was running through that, it doesn't matter how it comes to you. It can come in any form. Mine actually was coming through like a, like you see those old reels, on a film reel, and just sort of aspects as it was coming past, just on on a film reel, and just sort of really letting it sort of come past and not really, oh, okay, what's that? Or, oh, what's that? Just let it come past and just feel. So it doesn't matter how, oh, I should be seeing this or I should be feeling
it's
that.
It's very bio-individual for everybody. Yeah, very different. And if you feel that something didn't come forward, it will come forward, because sometimes they do. It's like when it's like, oh, what was that person's name? Oh, I forget. And you've met someone, it's like, oh God, I don't know. You can ask, all right, just remind me of what it is. It comes from the subconscious into the conscious mind. Oh, it's Gertrude. No wonder I didn't remember. Yeah, so well done. And that's the power of abracadabra, when we start using it, knowing that we've already preempted all of the pieces of work that we want to create. And then the abracadabra is like, right, that's what I want. We're very powerful. Yeah, to be used wisely too. Within here.
Absolutely.
Slides.
Slides.
To finish off, we
Mm.
at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What slides?
The offer.
Wait, did you want to ask some questions?
Oh,
do.
yes.
We wanna do the
yes.
questions.
Can I come over?
Yeah.
Slide
Stay
back
there,
in.
stay there.
No, we'll just, you put your
Gosh,
cushion on there.
nice
Oh,
tree
the
of life
most-
top
We
chair.
swap seats.
Oh, the tree of life top.
Oh,
Yeah, my
yeah.
tree of life.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm really drawn to it actually, lately.
Yeah.
We'll put a little note down too to remember about the universal light symbol, and we can email that out too. Actually, we'll put that on the slide before it goes out.
Right, so what we wanted to do, I think Sharon and I need to kind of sit
Okay.
where you're kind of a little bit more side on. Can you come in a bit more, Sharon?
This is my better side.
Your better side.
So what we're going to do is, and if you've got a question, we'll try to field anything that comes into the chat, but Robert's going to be channeling what we want to know about this starseed mission that we've come to be in the mission of New Earth Timeline, awakening humanity. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to have Robert channel the answers, because it is uncharted territory, and everybody wants to do their best and know what to do and how to do it. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to ask some questions.
Yeah, I like that because we had a wonderful time, didn't we, with Master Kafumi asking him on one
It's
of the
being very
activations.
precise about your question. Are you ready? Waffle?
Yeah,
Waffle.
yeah,
No.
be precise and ask one question.
That's
because
right.
when you're asking multiple questions, they're telling me the answer even as you're speaking. It's like they're reading into what that is. And for that activation that we just did, while Anita was running through the guided meditation, I pulled forwards the Palladian Council of Light, the Arcturian Head Council, the Sirius Keepers of Light Codes, the Orion Head Council, the Seraphim too, and the Creator, we might forget, and the Creator too, in the field of consciousness. So,
Wow.
I'm
nervous
we
now.
we have the opportunity though, as interdimensional beings of light, to be able to tap into these layers of consciousness. And if you're interested in knowing some more of the processes there, then we teach that in the psychic development courses too, on what you need to do to be doing that. Yeah. We all have the skills and abilities, and it's lovely then sharing as we do and helping, Anita and Sharon moving on with their spiritual evolutions, and the way that you share with me for me to grow too. Yeah, it's what it's all about. Like, we teach you 99.9% of everything we know. There's just the 0.01% of remastering any illness or disease out of the whole of humanity that they've told me how we do that for, some of our not awake people yet. But can't teach you that yet, but we'll be doing that this year. Kind of goosebumpy with that one too. So fear not for everybody. Amazing what we'll be doing this year. It's a privilege. Okay, I'm stopping talking now. Ask away.
Oh, I had my first question and it's gone out of my peripheral. Just a moment. Lightworkers, starseeds, a collective of awake beings that are working embodied on the planet now. How are we going? At what % do we feel that we're at the New Earth timeline?
The evolution of the starseeds and the light beings on the planet are at a peripheral reading of 50%. So there is much work for us to continue to be accessed through these fields of consciousness for each of the starseeds and light workers to embody the New Earth timeline. There is an opportunity, though, to deviate away from the third dimensional constructs of when is this going to happen. The timeline is dependent on the quickening effect of humanity to step into these new aspects of consciousness. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're 50% the way there. And
there is much continued work that is required in supporting those that are awake and semi-awake with their spiritual evolution. There has been much that has been spoken about the foundational work on remembering to remember the skills and abilities that are required for one to grow exponentially in consciousness. That has been shown by each and every one of you on the call, from the initial rudimentary frequencies that were demonstrated with everyone to heighten into 1 billion. There is an effectiveness required for the light workers and the star seeds to be maintaining an equilibrium of 10 billion across the board.
I was going to ask that. Wow.
That was my question.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 billion. That's
that equilibrium in Earth terms, in third dimensional terms, could be reached within the 3rd to 4th month of 2022.
I think you're reading my mind, because that was my next question. When does that need to be?
There is also application because of the shared space of consciousness that each and every one of us hold united through the flower of life and sacred geometry, that these dips in consciousness that we see for humanity must not be negated either in the support required to enable humanity move from these destructive minus frequencies into frequencies that are such that a human seed can remain disease-free.
So it's important for us to monitor what's going on in the human collective, so we know, it's important to do these world service events and come together and lift the human collective frequency.
Yes, and this channel has also known in the activations that he has been asked to do in supporting humanity that have received their choice, that there has been light granted to removing some of the toxic negative effects from humanity that will be continued with the indigenous people on the planet, and also those younger of a child nature on the planet at this time. There is much more work that will be constructed over the next year to support the acceleration of humanity from these disease-ridden frequencies.
And do you see the need for more star seeds to step into the healing modalities? They've come with gifts to be healers.
Yes, there is an obvious alignment with their soul expression as a star seeds as to why the hand was risen many lifetimes ago to be sent here in this time of great awakening on the planet for star seeds to align with their innate gifts. Star seeds and light workers have innate gifts, innate born gifts. These gifts are not always easy to step into because of the constraints of third dimension and the free choice that humanity has, and the partners that star seeds and light workers wish to inhabit the third dimension and with, that sometimes there can be blocks and barriers between a non-cohesive relationship between someone that is involving in their spiritual growth and someone that isn't. It is important at this time for all star seeds and light workers, when they are in a sacred union such as marriage, to allow their frequency to be such to allow the other human seed, if they are married in a union with them, to allow them to rise their frequency rather than the light worker or star seed lowering their frequency to allow this unification to work. It is important for star seeds and light workers to allow a bridge to be created if there is a bridge between the non-physical and spiritual aspects of a human seed compared to their spiritual evolution. This is very important.
I'll ask another question.
Yes.
How do you see the light workers and star seeds' resilience during all this chaos? Are they doing well enough, or are they still caught up in it?
We see great opportunities there with the igniting of the human seed's sacred flame. This was an activation that was conducted in 2021. There is still some work and opportunity to allow greater frequency to expand that light of consciousness. It is barely flickering in comparison to those on the call and the star seeds, when the layers of consciousness should be roughly 1.5 inches in height compared to the consciousness of humanity, which is a barely flickering flame. We are showing this channel as such if you have a gas burner at home or a barbecue and it is on your lowest setting compared to the allowance of consciousness that can be turned up to its full expression for the igniting effect of the consciousness within it. So there is great opportunity for us to touch further into the hearts of consciousness with humanity. There was much focus last year on the star seeds and the light workers, because there is a requirement to accelerate their spiritual growth before we turn to support humanity and our brothers and sisters that are here united with us too.
The oneness.
The oneness is for all, not just from star seeds and light workers, but the oneness for our fellow man and woman.
And just back to the light workers and star seeds that are obviously in the arrowhead, is there any advice you've got for them to cope with these changes that are happening, in our reality?
To be as a collective, to be connected, to be that one, to be supportive of each other in union. In doing so, that will then bring the light that is needed for humanity to then come from your third dimension to the fifth dimension by raising the collective consciousness of humanity. But each light worker, each star seed, is to support each other in the evolution of humanity.
We also have an opportunity to allow humanity to step out of the third dimension on the financial gains and the monetary systems that are enslaving humanity in the third dimension and keeping them from the connection with their family and their connection with nature and the connection with the animal world. So there is much opportunity there to help support humanity in taking a step into nature. Some aspects of reconnecting with nature will allow humanity to reconnect with themselves.
It is important too to connect with nature, as the nature of your planet is like the breath of yourself. It's kind of, it's like the seed, and when you support the seed and you water the seed, it grows and it then evolves. And that is how I see star seeds and light workers. You water, you then grow and you evolve. And so then by doing so, you become one, as in one with all, one with nature, one with the universe, one with collective. That's how I see it. So
And what I'm hearing is, as much as we come together as a collective of star seeds, we're not to leave the humanity, the ones that aren't so spiritual, out of the picture.
To do so would be destructive for the evolution of humanity in these new Earth timelines. There is no intent to leave anyone behind. There are some that have run the course of their existence in a human body in the third dimension on Gaia at this time, and they will remember their soul contracts to support humanity in a non-physical form at this time. But we will be working with the intent of the Creator to bring about these harmonics in the cleaning up of the earth and the air and the seas and the streams, and bringing new life force to the planet. Cleaning up the oceans and the radiation will be a hot topic for this channel and the starseeds in the first quarter of 2022. There will be much in the World Service events that we will be bringing forwards the opportunity to reverse these toxins that have been plagued by man and woman in the third dimension onto the planet. This is not sustainable for life force on the planet and for life force off of planet, for the frequencies of these affect not just humanity on Gaia, but through all star systems and multiverses.
Yeah, so a big amount of healing.
There is opportunities for self-healing and for healing of Gaia. And in so the healing of the multiverses and the other 12 star systems where there are embodied humanoids in a physical form, and those not in a physical form too.
Or one again.
We are indeed all one.
Yeah.
There will always be the aspects of yin and yang in the darkness and the light cohabitating together. There has just been a disproportionate amount of darkness through these timelines that has come to an end. This is known by all levels of consciousness from all multiverses and planets at this time. There are some that have willingly left the fields of consciousness of Gaia that they have called home for hundreds of thousands and millions of years, and there are other pockets that remain in denial, as you will. It is their time to inhibit what they have been plaguing humanity with. But through the systematic approach of the starseeds and light workers at this time, we are helping them to ascend to the light.
There's a lot on the table between
with love.
Yeah, shifting the density, moving these old timelines of beings that have been here for 300,000 years.
Earth was a planet that allowed in the fields of consciousness for beings to come to Earth, to call Earth their home, to set the systems up for humanity and humanoids. That was granted under universal law and decree. These timelines now, though, in the time that was given for that opportunity, have drawn to a close. There is much for humanity and people that are listening to this to recognize, as these systems do draw to a close, that there is an opportunity to live frugally, to live within your means, to create a nest egg, to limit the opportunity of having a piece of paper that represents nothing but may have a third dimensional monetary term or given to it. There is an opportunity to relinquish that isn't of a physical capital form in an aspect that is worth something more than a piece of paper with
like
numbers.
gold and silver.
Yes. There is a correction of the monetary systems that is inevitable. That will play out in the timelines that we will see later in 2022 and into 2023. So humanity has an opportunity to relinquish the overspending and the exorbitant use of non-beneficial electronic devices that are tying up much time and money for humanity and for starseeds and light workers.
It's great information. You know, it's helping us to prepare. Is food something that we need to consider as well?
There is plentiful food for a population that could double, treble, quadruple on planet Earth. There has been much manipulation of weather on the planet to a detrimental effect to create famines and to create floods. This technology that has been harnessed inappropriately is being made defunct at this time. And there will be much more growth for food in a more living context that is grown. There is an opportunity for humanity to tender their own gardens, but there will be plentiful food for all. The cleaning up effect of the rivers and the seas will see an abundance of food sources from the aquamarine environment. There will be less intent for humanity to eat a fellow animal. There is nourishment from the ingestion of an animal, but there will be much further in energetic opportunities from food sources not of a fellow animal. So there is not a requirement to harbour and administer food to be kept. There has been much that has been spoken about of the shortages in food and some of the manipulation that has been spoken about. This has been ceased and will be ceased by those that have controlled much wealth on the planet, that wish to control the food as another mechanism for their own agenda. This agenda has been stopped and will be stopped. There is much that has been spoken about from that agenda has been put in that agenda, and the starseeds and the light workers are feeding that opportunity for that agenda and the continuation in timelines for when this comes to an end. It will come to an end, and it is coming to an end. There must be much more focus on the new Earth timelines of the 5th and 6th dimension. There will be opportunities too from this channel and from the collective here too on how we set the 5th and 6th dimension, so that can be broadcast in what this living construct of Gaia in the 5th and 6th dimension looks like. There is not much that has been spoken about or portrayed, and this will be coming further to fruition for those of a light nature to focus on these new timelines, to draw that into the present moment to create this.
Am I right to say that it's really our manifestation, that we're here on this plane, that we need to be manifesting exactly what you're saying and not focusing on lack or fear?
It is your conscious appreciation of your thoughts and feelings creating the manifestation of what it is you wish to manifest into the present moment. Without a blueprint of what that manifestation looks like, it is quite hard to be specific on what it is that humanity is creating. This is something that we have acknowledged to reunite and pull that into a singular focus for those awakened beings to see the 5th and 6th dimension, to know that this is the timeline for humanity.
Yeah. Yes, because the greatest fear known to man is the fear of the unknown. So I guess this is going to be great information to share far and wide, so that there feels like there is a blueprint, there is a plan, which of course those with the faith know, but it's wonderful to hear this information and to help people feel that guidance.
The earth will rejuvenate itself very quickly with the cleaning up of the sea and the replanting and self-planting of the forests on the earth, breathing the breath of life back into the planet. Even though humanity has raped and pillaged Gaia in some aspects, there will be rejuvenation, natural rejuvenation that will occur exponentially.
Wonderful.
The old timelines from the pre-war dated era of the cleanliness of the rivers and the seas and before the deforestation will return. The natural cycles of the planet's weather systems will return.
And what sort of view would you put on that?
That is commencing now. New life forms will be brought to this planet in 2022 and 2023. This will accelerate the the speed, but there is also the consideration that has been spoken about with that which the starseeds and light workers and humanity have as a focus, which is why these timelines in the third dimensional construct of time will change depending on the frequencies and the manifestation that humanity has.
Yeah, very important. Can I just ask one more question? What do you mean by a humanoid?
A humanoid is a dimensional being in a physical a body. So a humanoid is the term given to a human or any embodied soul that is having an experience for the soul expression in a physical form.
That's just great to know. Yeah. Did you have any other questions?
No, sorry, I'm a bit connected myself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was great. I didn't have a look. Did anyone here have a question before we finish?
Earth is on the correct timeline for where it is at this precise moment in time. We can accentuate, as has been spoken about, with further dedication and commitment to the timeline that has been spoken about, and less time spent on the agendas of those that have called Earth their home.
I think that's a big highlight for me tonight. We do have one question here. What role will cryptocurrencies play in the future?
These offer an opportunity for humanity to trade in a context outside of the monetary value. There is still monetary value that is placed in these cryptocurrencies. Some that have been built are in the aspects of what this channel would call pyramid schemes. These should be avoided. There are some of these cryptocurrencies, and the name crypto introduces a context of being unknown. Cryptocurrencies have a place. There is also the opportunity where there will be more of a bartering scheme and more of an energy approach that is given to a pointer scheme for the products and services that one has to offer to share for an individual. These are more wholesome. These are the intent for the creator to have a more wholesome, non-monetary valued system that we have identified as third dimensional. But the cryptocurrencies in their context can be quite hard for one to get their head around, because these have been created from a third dimensional perspective. Some infiltrated by those that have called Earth their home as a way to disguise for humanity to expect that this may be a context of trading mechanism. So there is much diligence that is required in choosing a currency and a cryptocurrency that has been given in the third dimensional terms as a way of means of excluding paper-backed monetary system that has no inherent value and that isn't backed by any precious mineral. There will be opportunities to trade from a bank of precious minerals in a context of a weight or deliverance that is held within this, to trade from an account dependent on an amount of gold as such that each individual will have. In the aspects of the sovereign being, that all sovereign beings are entitled to their weight in gold, that has been spoken about. So there is a context of each and every individual on the planet that will receive an aspect of their monetary value given in a context, even for those that are perceived to have no monetary values, to those that have trillions of dollars in a third dimensional term, that each and every person on the planet will be cared for in that context, that there will be an equal distribution of wealth dependent on the inherent weight of yourself when you were incarnated and birthed on the planet. There is an aspect of the interest of that said weight of gold that will be distributed to each and every person on the planet.
Thank you.
I didn't know that either. That was a good question.
Oh, it was from Christina. Thank you, Christina.
Great question.
Is the metaverse something to avoid?
The metaverse was created by those that wish to control and manipulate humanity. There are aspects there of a metaverse that can have the opportunity to suck humanity into an AI type form of living environment. Humanity here is such to express itself in a human form rather than not as an artificial intelligence. These metaverses and these AI technologies have an opportunity to corrupt humanity. These are very third dimensional in their nature, trying to harness and diminish the spiritual connection that humanity has with itself and with the Creator. There will be no time and space for these metaverses and other AI technologies with the ascension of humanity. This is an opportunity to try and corrupt humanity and to place, as you will, a blockade on the top of the crown. There is much in these social media contexts and platforms that have been created that are sending subtle frequencies to disturb and distract and distort humanity. It is time to be very mindful of the protections that have been spoken about by this channel earlier to ensure that one is not becoming succumbed by the energies that are emanating from a number of these technologies that were created by the inhabitants that have called Earth their home. Be at one with nature and yourself. Find your enjoyment from the enjoyment of being with a soulmate or partner or family members or friends.
To really detox, like we experience by going off the grid, turning off the Wi-Fi, reducing use
Detox
of screens.
from the amount of time that humanity has spent being distracted from connecting with self, rather than the connection that humanity has found in the distraction from identifying and looking into others' lives.
Yeah,
It's about giving back to self, being, within your sacred heart and just really being within self.
There is much understanding and knowledge that is gained from the connection with self, the opportunity to ask a question and have the answer delivered. There is much opportunity when one lives within their sacred heart space. The need and requirement for external stimulation diminishes. It's just there had been a lack of connection with self that these inhabitants of planet Earth have seen there is a weakness for humanity and have filled that gap from self-connection with connection of an electronic device.
so it creates those feelings. Fabulous. Any other questions here?
So how do we engage with stories, works of fiction, and the creative arts in this new era?
Humanity has the opportunity to decipher those that enrich one's life and being through the physical and non-physical bodies. We have opportunities to connect through from the physical and non-physical senses. This is very bio-individual for each and every one of the inhabitants of the planet. Each and every one has a different capability to resonate and to connect with each one of these different arts. There is no right or wrong answer. One should be drawn to an art that one feels that fulfills or expands their life, one that one resonates with. We can connect with those in any space, time and dimension through the physical and non-physical senses. There is much choice. Choice is a key opportunity for these energies in 2021 and 2022 and further. Humanity has the choice.
It's got another question there from Nicola. Do we have to worry about 5G technology?
Worry is an opportunity that will limit the spiritual evolution because it is contained within the base chakra. 5G technology in its context may be harmful and detrimental to humanity. There is much work that is going on in the galactic realms to deflect the negative connotations of 5G. The spiritual brothers and sisters, the illuminated ones that have carried the Atlantean codes of light, are here at this time to deflect any of the negative effects of electromagnetic frequency in the context of 5G and the generations of these evolutions. If one is worried about the context of electromagnetic fields, you will draw that into your awareness. There is an opportunity to know that you have and can harness all of the power that is required to deflect any negativity that is drawn into the physical and non-physical bodies from any form of electromagnetic frequency.
So
this can be grounded off, and the calling in of the Atlantean Keeper of Light Codes and other Atlantean Keepers of Light Codes that are inhabited as starseeds at this time will help deflect that.
which we know Kevin.
It is an opportunity not to worry, to be mindful and to be open and to be connected, to be mindful of the choices that one makes, the choices of one where one may decide to inhabit in your residence. If it is under a device, a broadcasting device or tower, one may have a choice not to live in the vicinity of this. It would negate the intensity of the electromagnetic frequencies that will be absorbed into the physical and non-physical bodies that can be highly detrimental to human form. There is much in the even dimensions that has been plagued by humanity through the second, fourth, sixth, and eighth dimension. These dimensional beings are able to withstand the electromagnetic frequencies. Those dimensional beings of the first, third, fifth, and seventh, ninth dimensions do not handle electromagnetic frequencies and radiation. That is why the inhabitants that called planet Earth their home have constructed such technologies to inhibit and minimize the opportunities for humanity to connect. These distortions in the electromagnetic fields wobble the bodies that have been played with in the soul bodies and the mental, emotional, spiritual, galactic and morphogenic bodies, and the connection to the higher realms. So there is an awareness that is required and a stabilization effect when one wishes to very precisely connect, to have an intention that it is not being affected by any electromagnetic fields. The intention, if broadcast out from the sacred heart space, will be enough to stabilize these fields.
Can I just ask a question? We've really found, since the toxins that have gone into humanity, that it really affects our psychic channels, and what we've done is triple lock our chakras and pull our field into our aura. Is that the right thing to do? Keep ourselves open in the higher dimensions? Is there any upgrade or update or information on that?
There is a stability if one is stepping outside of the containment vessel that has the opportunity to support humanity in a protection. If one is aware of the stability that is contained within the field of consciousness around them, one will not be affected so much by any toxic effects from any of the adulterations that have been put into humanity. This will also protect from a mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect of all of humanity from any negative frequencies or vibrations that may be broadcast from one into another, even of a thought form. We have opportunities at more than a rudimentary level with triple locking the chakras. There are opportunities there in the other external bodies that are operating in, through, and around the physical body to deflect and to abate any of this coming in. There is opportunities that we will bring forward in later energy protection workshops in a third or fourth delivery from this channel, where we will run into these higher aspects that can be considered to protect yourselves. They are quite easy, but will take a level of masterfulness to embody that. There is also the intent and knowingness that these protection devices are absolute. That is something that has plagued humanity in its cumbersome approach to holding an intention as an absolute.
Okay.
There will also be aspects of new energies coming through that will be shown to the channel to be used in the aspects of the 5G for protection, that will be then brought through to the protection of humanity.
We have opportunities with scalar technology and to reverse the output devices of 5G technology in the millimeter wave, to reverse that and broadcast that out from the human body. As a transmitting device, the human body is exponentially powerful. When these energies and harmonics that are being brought forwards with these activations, and with the activation fully of the 100% Kundalini channels of the human body, as that is rolled out for each and every one in humanity. There have been many that have been playing with the Kundalini channels for many years. There are deeper access that will be brought forward for even those masters of activating and utilizing Kundalini channel, as the energies are abated and increased at this time. There will be opportunities to utilize the Kundalini channels to administer and to protect oneself against any electromagnetic frequencies and also any illness or disease.
This will be work that will be brought forward at a later date. It will also be as a world service.
You are correct in your approach and your transmission. There is much that unfolds in the present moment, as each and every one of you on the call is aware that there is a level of secrecy that is required for the intent for these activations to be rolled out. There is a willingness from this channel to pre-program the remaining 16 activations, and there is an aspect that will be granted at a high level, but there is much that will also be weaved into the present moment in time to allow the energies to be rolled out for humanity.
I think we had another couple of questions here. Will the current governments and systems dissolve in the future?
Yes, the governments and the systems are of a third dimensional dictatorial alignment, which isn't in alignment with the fifth and sixth dimension. There will be greater opportunities for self-management of the alignment of the energies of the sixth dimension. There will be those that are incarcerated that will continue to be incarcerated, for there is some in humanity that would not be beneficial to be released into the aspects of humanity. There will be a management of places, and there will be free travel for humanity to express itself around the planet once again. The management will be of a moral basis on a continuum of a collective on agreement for how the planet is managed. There will be a quorum of managers, as you will, in that context, where there will be opportunities for each and every member of humanity to express their will and content, away from any unadulteration of any of the intent for humanity to self-regulate itself. There are constructs and frameworks of consciousness there for an ability that will still be required for humanity that wish to navigate through space, time, and dimensions into other aspects of reality. This would not be conducive for humanity to be opening up and working with their own wormholes or teleportation devices to be leaving planets. So there will be a governing and regulation around this opportunity for humanity to step out of the aspects of consciousness and Gaia to access other realms of consciousness. There will be more in free movement for starseeds that have inhabited Gaia at this time to transverse and access their own constellations and their starseed heritage.
Wow. What would be a time frame on that?
The time frame for the space travel for humanity to be accessing and to be transversing back to their starseeds of origins in your Earth timelines at the moment would be approximately 20 years away.
Wow.
Therefore, the free access and opportunity for starseeds to open up and work with their own interdimensional bridges of creating wormholes to transverse there will be opportunities for starseeds to transverse back to their starseed heritage in a shorter period of time. This may be in less than 10 of your Earth years away.
And can I just go back a moment to the Australian and New Zealand governments? When do you see them dissolving? Well, Australians and New Zealanders on the call.
There is a framework in place in your Earth years at the moment for this to occur within the next 2 years. There is much that is being held from behind the scenes. There is much transition from the old constructs of government control that is being wielded and touted at this time. The exact framework of what that looks like is still being undecided or scripted into universal law, but we will see these changes in the government structures beginning this year and next year, culminating in 2024.
When do you think this extra booster shots and all this extra and the travel restrictions, when do you see that coming to an end?
This is a timeline that is depicted somewhat by the consciousness levels of humanity and those that are holding the regimented third dimension together. If the consciousness of humanity isn't accelerated, this timeline in your Earth timeline years may accentuate to 2025. We have opportunities in the raisement of consciousness of humanity and those that are keeping the third dimension of Gaia in place to remove that within a year of your Earth terms.
So if humanity wakes up and bucks the system, because we are assisting them to raise their frequency and also assisting them to come out of this brainwashing hypnosis mode, then you see that happening sooner.
There is opportunities to accelerate that growth, and the opportunities to accelerate that growth could be into a timeline of this year too. It comes down to the moving timeline of consciousness that you have used rudimentarily to scale the consciousness of humanity. If greater focus by those embodied starseeds in humanity to move that timeline at a quicker pace, then the timeline can be reduced. The timeline is such that there is an opportunity to constrict or expand this timeline. There is much will for the starseeds at this time to constrict that timeline, to move that forward at a closer pace. There will be a requirement for humanity and the starseeds and light workers to step into the aspect of who they are to shorten the timeline requirement to this year, if that is an intention of the starseeds and light workers.
So really, a big message for everybody listening tonight is to work on themselves.
For self-exploration and spiritual growth, and for service to humanity. There was the context of this channel in the bringing together of the 2022 timeline on here for starseeds and enlightened beings to step up and step into 2022. There is an aspect here for many that have been hiding in the shadows of fear of stepping into the aspect of who they are as a multi-dimensional being of light, having a human experience. There is a requirement of a hand for the others to help support those star seeds and light workers to fully embrace the aspect of who they are. There is a quickening requirement there that each and every one that is hearing this transmission to support those on their evolutionary journey, which will shorten the timeline considerably. The timeline could be shortened to as little of your Earth years of 5 months. Or this could be extended outwards to 3, 4, 5 years.
There will be much opportunity throughout 2022 for this to take place as activations, and that will happen throughout this year. It is now time to step in, step up, and be who you truly are, for these timelines to constrict, so that humanity can be the one that it is.
Wow.
Well done.
It's beautiful.
Wow, you too.
That felt like the crescendo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We must do more of that.
That was
really
amazing,
beautiful. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, bring it in and piggyback, sorry.
Wow, no, it was, but it was great because you were, like coming in perfectly. Well done. Thank you for the questions, everyone. Everyone's saying thank you. Wow.
Yeah, we must do. We do more of that because I really enjoy it, and it was lovely from bringing in the masters before, and then with the energy there of the galactic teachers of light.
Wow, it gives us all like a roadmap.
Yeah, but even just like being here with Rob, bringing them in, the gratitude that they feel for us, as star seeds and light workers, they do have gratitude for doing at this time. I feel it.
Oh,
absolutely.
They need us embodied,
and it's
we're them,
it's our time.
It's like
they are us and we are them.
That's absolutely right.
We are all the aspects of each and every one of us, and the creator embodied at this time.
I found out on our holidays with Robert. This is amazing when you're with Robert in the car and you're heading down a road and you've got the Pleiadian code on. Well, the Pleiadians are right behind us in their spaceship, and I get a whole commentary of this. And then I wanted to learn more about being Arcturian, and I brought up a childhood memory where I remember being levitated out of bed, and I remember feeling very peaceful about it. But the next morning I was perplexed, and all I could explain was I thought it was ghosts. I was in an attic too, which was a neighbour's place we stayed overnight, and I was 6 years old, and that stemmed a whole conversation with Robert. And suddenly my Arcturian guide stepped forward, of which is a new guide for me, and Robert helped me to know his name, which is Cilier. And then he proceeded to tell me that my guide Clarence, who I always that was how the chakras came about for me, and helping me to understand that I'm a decoder, that I decode emotions, I decode the chakras. And then also going on to tell me that I'm actually of the Arcturian head council, and that my name is Ansara. So, it's just mind-blowing.
I feel that when you say that.
Yeah, I am Ansara of the Arcturian head council. And this is why I know so much about chakras and decoding. It's just so powerful to know this about yourself. And and everybody in the room, you're just like me. You just need to ask, or have a channeling with Robert, because, you know, and as you're seeing Sharon channeling now, you know, Sharon's getting ready to join us in the not very far distant future. So yeah,
and it is that too, you know, and the time out from Christmas, and it was just, you know, going within, and I always kind of felt like, although being an Orion starseed, there was always like a bit of a hole, you know, that it wasn't complete. It didn't feel complete for me. And since then, I've actually found out, and just tuning in to myself and to the Orion constellation, I've actually found out that I'm a Mintarkan starseed.
I never heard of that.
So, and that really, I just feel complete now. You know, I just feel it within me of who I really am. So,
and what did you find out about being a Mintarkan?
Mintarkan is actually a planet that no longer is there. They had to leave the planet, and it's a water planet. So the Mintarkan race was predominantly, they lived in the ocean, and they were like sort of mermaids, mer people, but they had feet and legs and tails and stuff, and they spent their time 3 days or so, 3 like Earth days underwater, but they had to come up for air, and they could be on the land as well, but they had to then return back to the ocean. But like dolphins don't go on the land.
Is that
but
known as an amphibian?
But they have to breathe the air, and they then were forced off their planet, and they came to Earth. So they were actually, the Mintarkan starseeds were the first starseeds to inhabit Earth.
Wow.
So yeah, it's all these sort of really interesting things that you find out, you know, these little snippets of,
maybe that's why our history's been hidden from us, so we have to find out.
Yeah,
it starts to come when you take the time to meditate and give yourself some time in nature, and you don't have to sit in shavasana for an hour.
No,
but when you connect with yourself in nature and like with your spiritual practices, it comes, doesn't it?
It does.
Well,
It
Robert
absolutely
challenged
does.
me to work out, to remember my name as an Arcturian, and he said, no, you've got to do it.
Oh no, that wasn't me. You were being directed by your guide.
Oh, okay. And
I was being directed by them.
that I had to work.
You had to do
Yeah,
it.
and honestly, I was just literally in nature, walking along the path, and it was like Ansara, and I went, "Is it Ansara?" And it just came out of nowhere. Yeah.
But that was because, you know, we orchestrated it by going in your sacred heart space, by asking the question, you know, and then, you know, your head popped in a couple times, didn't it? You know, your head got a little bit busy.
Took me a day to get out of my head over it.
But I said, stay in your sacred heart space, ask the question, and then it will come to you. A bit like what we did with the soul collecting up and the remembrance there, and just connecting into that soul body. It will come to you, but it might not come now, but it will come.
Brilliant. Just because we've gotten a bit excited tonight and gone a little overtime, but I just got one slide I want to show you. So we'll just grab that up. That was amazing. Let's do that again. Just the last one. Back one. Could you just move that little?
Sure.
So we've put together this year, we've put together everything just to make it easy. 16 guided activations until the end of the year. Now they actually value the event. It's $39 per event. You can see the value that it's so information rich, and with activations and meditations. 624 is the real value, but we've got an early bird special, which brings it down to $7 an event, because we want everybody, we want you to tell your friends. We need to grow this event, you know, massively. And so that's why we've brought it down to, I love it, only 111.11, available for 48 hours. And then if you don't want to do that and you want to jump in later, we will have an after early bird special, which is $149.99. But the ease of this is you get a reminder when every event's coming up. You get a membership portal that you can access all the recordings. So by the time you come to the end of this year, you're going to have a whole bunch of tools in your toolkit. And like I said, you can be going in and recording just particular meditations that really resonated with you. So there is a link because we threw all this together very quickly with our holidays, just click the link and that will register you to get the early bird special. And then with that email that'll come out tomorrow, you'll get that ability to book that in, plus the list of the mastery, 10 things to master, just to keep reminding us what we're working on.
We'll send this out to this PDF
And this
to
recording
everyone.
and the PDF.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
you'll have the link and the slides and everything that we ran through.
So yeah, so if you haven't written that down, what I'll do, can we just copy and paste that into the chat so people can grab it on the computer?
Sure.
Just let, you're very multi-skilled, aren't you?
I need to escape out of that, don't I?
Do you want me to read it out to you?
No, I think I just need to do it from down here.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Won't be long, everyone.
We'll ask Matt to send this out too, so this will go out to
Yeah.
everyone in your email tomorrow morning, and then chat. Open message. We should.
There we go, everyone. So go and grab that link. Oh, has it
Oh.
gone through? I don't think it
Yeah.
has.
Oh, where did that go to? Everyone we want it to go. Everyone in meeting.
There we are. So Robert's just posted that link, which enables you to fill out your details so that you get the bundle sent to you at that early bird special, along with all the added extras we've talked about. But wow, thank you. That's been an amazing start to the year.
Amazing.
Amazing. It's lovely to be at one with you all.
A family of light.
Somebody was just asking when the next class was.
Oh, the next one that we will come together is the 2nd of the 2nd. But watch this space, you know, we'll be letting you know about other events. We've got psychic
There'll be
development.
some more free world service events too coming up
Yep.
shortly.
Oh yeah, we'll add in the group. The Free World Service group is the one to
16.
be a member of,
16 of them.
so that we can keep you really abreast what's happening and what the offers are. And like I said, I'll get Matt to put together some offers in regard to the workshops that have been and gone that you might have missed.
And when the psychic development starting up again, 24?
The Tuesday, I think the 25th. Yeah, of the 2nd.
25th?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap, everyone. We have to go and eat Deborah's yummy cherries and cookies.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone.
Yeah,
Well
thank
done
you.
in that activation.
Yeah, well done.
Wow, harnessing the billion
Oh,
club,
it's great to
and
see Helen. We want to see more of you.
humanity like you've done. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Mm.
And play in that field of, those soul expressions.
Keep
Remember
a dream journal and set the intention that you're going to remember your soul memories in your dream space. And then as soon as you wake up, just jot things down, because it'll all come in like a puzzle, and it'll just all sort of make sense when it does, doesn't it? It just kind of falls together.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like these nights do.
Yeah, they always come together.
Ah, wonderful,
Just all come
everybody.
together.
Thanks, team.
Thank you, everybody.
Wow. That's amazing.
See you next time. Bye everyone.